Welcome to Comic Burrito Podcast, a live stream. I'm Todd.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Nick.
What's up, guys? Hey, we're all three here right now. What's up?
It's all so fancy.
We all made it, and Nick has a full screen. There ain't no bars.
Look at all this room for activities.
Ooh, dang. So much activity.
Ooh, I love it.
My goodness. How's your guys' week's been?
Good.
It's been all right.
Good.
Yourself?
Yeah, I mean, feeling good, feeling better. Let's do this thing. Yeah, I'm ready to talk some comics, I suppose. So much room. So much room.
Look at that.
The activities that can be had. It's crazy.
Oh, man. I had to bring out a whole bunch of new toys.
Yeah, it's like lofting your bed. You have so much more.
Yeah, I had to bring out some more stuff, which is cool.
And since we're speaking of activities,
my wife is super happy that all these children's toys are out of the bedroom right now.
Oh, well, sexy time's gonna be so much lamer now.
Yeah. Right.
But since we're speaking of activities, if you haven't already, gone to our Killadelphia YouTube video and commented with your favorite horror comic book and your favorite vampire story through all mediums, do that, because in about 30 minutes we might be giving away a cover A to issue 1 of that. So
yeah, it's the only time that we actually want you to leave this. Yeah, no, it's the only time we actually want you to leave this if you haven't done that.
For just a second.
I mean, you can technically open a new tab. I think all browsers, even IE supports tabs. So you can stay here for this. Go to that, leave a comment. You don't even have to wait that 10 seconds to do it. But speaking of comics, you guys read anything good since the last time we talked?
I read so many. I made up for my slacking last week. And I read a lot of comics. I am sure that I am forgetting quite a few things. I've been trying to remember just the past couple hours, getting all the books and stuff around. But I know I'm going to forget something.
So I guess I'm just going to bring a title up that I think none of us read here. And because it's a #1, but I picked up this book. It's Fantastic Four Empire Zero. I think this is some sort of a thing happening in Marvel. I picked it up because there's apparently a first appearance, and I was like, I like Fantastic Four. It's a 0. Let's see how it goes. The best part about this was that they made a joke about the Masked Singer.
Ooh.
Nice. That's it. I mean, it was fine. There was some stuff. I'm probably not going to read any more of this.
So I'm pretty sure Empire is an arc that's happening right now, because I think Empire is one of the books you can get right now too. It's
and
Empire.
I remember when I was watching Lost in Comics, maybe 2 weeks ago, those guys posted a list of what's coming out for it, and it was 45 books over the course of 4 months. And I was like, well, I mean, I like Fantastic Four enough. I'll give it a try.
They Blackest Night style.
Yeah, they also made a joke because their ship lost gas and they wanted to trade. Credits aren't good anymore. So the thing said, it's bartering time. Instead of his punchline, it's clobbering time. So I guess that also made me laugh.
Cheers, Nat, and Flash Ray videos. Sam, Nat, Superior Hero Reviews, Chaos and Comics, Comic Book Poser, 1, 2 Comic Talk. Thanks for joining us. So I'm just gonna kick this off. I'm gonna do some fan service. There's a book that one of our viewers has been mentioning for a very long time, and been telling us how great it is, and none of us read it. And I read 10 issues of it this week.
And it's Hawkman.
It's Hawkman. It is Hawkman. And I've been sleeping. So
it's good.
It's really good. Yeah. I am understanding why Sam has been being like, and Hawkman, guys, and Hawkman.
We're always
yeah.
I'm pretty sure Don reads Hawkman, because he kept randomly be like, you read Hawkman? Nope. Yeah. Okay.
So like, you kind of grab the book and be like, "You," and it's like, "No," and he's like, "Yeah, okay."
It's written by Robert Venditti. So pretty decent writer. He's done a couple things.
Okay, he's okay.
And then Brian Hitch is the artist. It's
really
all
good.
around. It's fantastic.
Is it like old timey? Is it like, because I don't like Thor because it's all like
I don't think Hawkman.
Oh, it's not old timey. It's modern. It's modern.
It's not like weird speak, if you know what I mean.
No.
I don't know why I always assume it is.
Because he's Carter Hall, so he's reincarnated in modern times right now.
Okay.
And that's the main character. Thank you, Sam King. I'm so excited to keep going with it. It's huge. Like, the story that they're telling is massive and like takes place through all of Hawkman's lives and gets to his origin, which is really cool. I don't want to talk too much more because there's some spoilers, but I highly recommend picking up the trades. It's totally worth it. It's a great story.
Does it tie into like Justice League or Flash or any of that?
The first 10 have been very standalone. And he's been like the only character outside of Madame Xanadu shows up for a little bit. He is the man. You're correct.
Well, what else did I read? I talked a little bit about Green Lantern.
Oh, who's that?
In our last video, it's this new guy called Green Lantern. You would probably like it, I think.
You'd like it? All right, I'll give it a go.
Maybe if you have time.
Okay.
But I talked about that because that book was my pick of the week earlier in the week. But what it prompted me to do shortly after that was I started the 1960s run.
Oh, let's try this.
And I am I think I'm like 4 or 5 issues in, but they're all like double issues. And it's very good.
Very cool. We do have to break real quick for This Week in Mustache History with Cole.
This Week in Mustache History.
Man, I wish I had a book that involved dudes with mustaches that I could talk about real quick, but I was not planning for this. I'll do better next week. Actually, I got a box here. Let's see. Nah, he doesn't know.
Well, you've been digging the old Green Lanterns and all that?
I have.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
So far. I like it a lot better than the only other thing I've read from like the 60s and stuff was Amazing Spider-Man, which was good, but it was very dated and it was harder to read than this for sure.
Yeah, volume 1 of Spider-Man is it's a trek for a lot of it because it's just not modern. We're used to modern comics, so it's kind of hard to backtrack sometimes because it's a slower pace and it's just different. Like,
are you reading volume 1 or like volume 2? Maybe, I don't know. The first Hal Jordan.
Yeah, it's the oldest one I could find on DC Universe, and it said 1960 on, and it was like 124 books I think in the folder.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. Is
that's Silver? That'd be Silver Age,
yeah,
I believe. So it'd be Hal Jordan because it's not Alan Scott.
Yeah, it's Hal. No, it's Hal.
Well, I just remember another podcast from our area talked about the facsimile issue of that, and they were talking about they picked it as the pick of the week, and they were like, "This was really funny for me to read because it was so like outdated, and it was just like I don't know some of the way that they talked, which seemed kind of funny, but."
Thanks for joining us.
That I laugh, and it's just because it's just old lingo.
Yeah, and Chaos, you did actually miss the 2 hours of Heroes in Crisis talk, so if you didn't want that, you're safe.
Oh shoot!
Sorry, man. We should be recording that. We just talked for 2 hours alone. Yeah. Oh snap!
Another thing I read this week.
So
I think I've said all I need to say on Twitter about this. I don't think we need to get into anything.
Yeah.
Other than you read it this week?
Yeah. Yeah.
If we want to talk slightly, this Young Justice issue, number 16, that came out this week, it is Bart. What is it? Is it Bart Allen, who is Impulse, and he has a very Barry-like human, like Heroes in Crisis like thing going on. And this was actually, I was pleasantly surprised with this issue. I mean, I like Young Justice. I think it's the best book Bendis has been doing. But like, this was actually a pretty good story. Like, I would maybe even recommend you could read this alone without knowing. I mean, obviously, him and Connor Kent both just kind of disappeared, and now they're back, and they're both just like, hey, remember when we weren't people and people don't know who we are? But like, we saved stuff yesterday, so they sort of know who we are, but we have memories.
Yeah, someone Drew at 9Boxer9 sent me that. Was like, you should check this out.
Oh, look at that.
So now I have to, because that's 2. So
It's I mean,
everyone knows that's the rule.
I love Young Justice, and it's a good book. I mean, it's a good book for what it is. Like, it's not groundbreaking, but it's a fun, younger team book. I mean, I would guess most of this stuff is, I mean, you got a decent amount on DCU that you could probably read.
Yeah.
But 16 issues in, it's probably not worth getting.
And I could, no, I was hoping it was an old issue and I could read it tonight before I went to bed. But
Chaos and Comics, that would be Nick that you were talking with about Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah, pink shirt.
Although all 3 of us do like Heroes, maybe you two shouldn't admit it, but
I mean, Todd likes it the least.
Todd likes it the least.
Sure, I didn't not like it though.
I really like it. So I really like it. I know Cole really likes it.
I really liked the therapy sessions. I think that's enough for how awesome the book is. Like that.
We were gonna get into it though.
We did say that, didn't we?
Yeah. We should move on. We could move on to because I know that you guys have been waiting to talk about it.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I talked about it a little bit in our most recent This Week in Comics that came out.
And I did not read it because you told me not to.
I didn't say not to. I said I hadn't read it yet.
Yeah. Well, I said, which of these should I read?
And I hadn't read it yet.
But that was on Wednesday. You still haven't read it?
No, he has now, right? Right, Cole?
Yeah. I read it. Oh, okay. I read it. Well, I started reading it that night, and you were like, "This is a bad idea." And then when I reread it the next day, I was like, "That was a great idea to tell me that was a bad idea." Because I was a few beers deep, and I even got some woozy stomach stuff. Reading it the next day. Also, I think you should put up a Chaos and Comics comment about how I have the best mustache in the comic community. I guess it's porn stash, but like I'm okay with it.
I just can't. I don't see it on my list. I just can't. No, I don't see it anywhere. I can't put up your porn stash comment. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. There it is. It exists. And it's gone. And Wes loves Hero in Crisis. I think it was the minority shouting into the void with that because it's a good comic book. I wouldn't say I love it. I would not put an exclamation point like Wes did. I would Raymond Holt this, and I'd be like, I like it very much.
This was my second time reading it through, and I liked it. It might be my third time reading it.
It was your third because you and I both kind of reread it again when right before Flash Forward, I bought the hardcover, read this, then read Flash Forward.
Well, I reread it when all of them came out, when the last issue came out.
Okay.
It was like I had gone through and read them all, and then when the last issue came out, I went all the way through.
Yeah.
Every time I read it, I like it more.
But Alienated. I love how Heroes in Crisis is so prevalent. It can't be ignored. Peralta, you're a genius. Nice Captain Holt impression. Peralta, you're a genius. Butter on toast is unacceptable. Why ruin a perfect thing?
It was funny because we were talking about this, and you're like, "This might be the most like heavy book in the series yet."
But amazing, but incredible.
Right. And I mean, issue 3 was pretty heavy, so I was like, I don't think it's going to be more than that.
Gotcha. I told you. It's heavy. It's a lot, but my goodness, is it a fantastic read. Like it's still like I can't not think of it ever. I've thought about it every day since Wednesday because it's a lot and I love it. I love it. It solidified being as like my thing. I will be getting the hardcover of this book. if it exists, I'm very invested. I love it. It's officially right up there with Killadelphia.
You should go grab that Virgin #2.
I know, it's so pretty.
It really is.
Really pretty. I only have 8 covers, but that is a great variant.
I almost got it, but it was going to be the one different one, and it would have driven me crazy, so I didn't.
Yeah, I do hate that, having a different issue.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys read Alienated. I did Hawkman. So the ones that I talked about on Wednesday or Thursday was Something is Killing the Children, Stealth, and Alienated, so I'm not going to really talk about those. I also had read Batman, Green Lantern, and The Flash, obviously, but Nick covered those. A couple that I didn't talk about, but were something that I've read from New Comic Book Day is Detective Comics 1023 and Justice League 48, which I know, Nick, you're not reading Justice League anymore.
No, I stopped that one.
I've read both of them.
Cole, are you reading Justice League still?
Yeah, we covered Detective Comics a little bit. I think in the end of it, it was me making an offhand comment that it might be the best Batman story that I've read so far this week.
Right. I very much enjoyed Detective Comics. I'm a little cool on the current Batman run, but I really like the Batman comics, Detective Comics, especially I'm trying to get excited for Joker War, and that got me much more excited for Joker War with I
did read that part.
What they showed.
So Chaos just said he thought that it was very generic. I did watch your stream, though, where you picked it up and you didn't read the other part of the arc, which might make it seem more generic than maybe it did. But I don't know, also.
Yeah, I think that knowing the arc, that would help. If you went into it with like the Two-Face arc that they just finished up with this issue, I think it was kind of over. They obviously were like, well, this is the end of this arc. It wasn't like, so just said he's wrong about Batman.
I mean, I don't think Poser. I mean, it's fine. I also agree with that. I
disagree with both of them, but
it's just, you also haven't read Detective Comics either, for the moment.
I haven't, so I can't say it's better, but I definitely am enjoying Batman way more than you guys are right now.
We've went through the three of us have talked in length about Batman and our feelings about it. My biggest issue is that I don't like what they did with the new Rogue they introduced. I think how that ended and
I love what they did with the new Rogue.
That went was disappointing because it's kind of like, oh, of course, sure, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah. And I was just excited to have a new Rogue that could be like matching with intellect and like all of that, and it kind of fizzled on my end. But I'm very excited for Joker War. There's a lot of things that I've liked about Tiny Onion's run, and there's some other things that I'm just indifferent about. But I am excited for what he's about to do.
So I saw somebody post.
That's a very cool cover.
Yeah. I saw somebody post about this, but then I tried to find it, but I thought somebody said that he talked on Word Balloon and he said, or Word Bubble, that he didn't actually, like, this wasn't his decision. He was given this story. Yeah. So like that makes me like understand it more, I guess, because it's just kind of like I don't think the writing's bad about it. I'm just like, nothing for me has been like, ooh, wow.
We did get a pants check from.
Oh, yeah. I don't have any pants on though.
Well, that's why we're checking.
Oh, I don't know if I can. I got like this new wire on my head.
Yeah, I just pulled out one. I'm not in stereo.
I can just do that right there. I'm gonna pull something.
I have khaki shorts, so it kind of looks weird, but like.
Yeah, cold.
I'm the only one in pants.
Todd's the only pants.
I mean,
it's the only pants.
But we are wearing something.
I'm in a basement. Yeah. It doesn't get hot.
Quarantine's over.
Oh man, I'm in a basement, but my basement's built weird. For some reason, this room's either super cold or super hot.
So pants check. There you go. We've been checked. 1 out of 3 have succeeded.
I liked that Justice League though.
I did too. I'm having a lot of fun. It's very kind of old school style. It honestly reminds me of Green Lantern, what they did, given the setting and everything, and the fact that there was a Green Lanterns involved.
Can I throw, like, was Hal the Green Lantern, like, in literally the last issue?
The last issue of what?
Green Lantern? Or has John been in it and I just didn't really recognize it?
John been in Justice League?
Yeah.
He was the...
Oh.
Are you talking about for the Snyder run?
Well, or for the Vendetti run.
I don't think
because John is the Green Lantern in this.
Yes.
And I was just like for some reason I was like, I don't think he was in the last one.
They're always going at the same time. Like they're him, Guy, Kyle, all four of them. At any point, a writer can just be like, "That's the Green Lantern we're using because he's around."
Yeah.
Tidy whitey check. I don't have a banner or a ticker for that.
Oh shoot.
So I guess we'll have to skip that one. But that'll be Comic Burrito After Dark.
Yeah.
We'll do the tidy whitey check. Joker War is supposed to be the end of the current Batman run before the reboot is, so that's why it lacks a little bit. Oh, yeah.
That's
just pop. There we go.
Yeah, that was my defense of it too. A little bit was that it was like, well, yeah, of course they're not going to do all that with a new Rogue and all these new characters and all these new concepts because we're near the end and they're gonna give the end to the most popular, of course.
Yeah. So anything else this week you guys want to touch on? Because
I read this today.
Hey.
Don't need to talk a whole lot about it. It's such an uplifting, beautiful, happy story. That's very peaceful and it's great for children. But I really liked this book. However, I also read this week, and I haven't gotten a chance to talk about that yet either.
Oh, are you talking about this that you? Oh,
yeah.
We may or may not have a video of that coming out soon. Yeah, my copy is next to me right now, but
I would check that out.
I can hold up. Oh, here we go. I can't hold up 4 Kids Walking
Those are both Black Mask,
but I can pick up this. Yes.
I think everything else I read, we've.
Which, speaking of Black Mask, because it's not known, because during this conversation, it's not been a thing. I would like to recommend The Disciples. It is one of Black Mask's less known that I don't see a lot of anything about, and I'll just let you know, in a future where our solar system has been colonized by wealthy elites, interstellar bounty hunters follow a missing girl's trail to a cult on Jupiter's largest moon. That's the intro to the thing. That's a sentence right there. So some Black Mask has been read and talked about. So I'm gonna hit up top book of the week. Yeah. So what's Cole? What's your top book of this week? What's your one? What's the one that you just can't stop thinking about? Okay, I'm just gonna say mine's Alienated 4. By the way, mine's easy. It's Alienated. I can't stop thinking about it. It's easily the one that gripped me the most, had the most depth to it. That really just, my brain can't stop thinking about it. That's easily my top book of the week.
So I'm gonna give it to Lois Lane, 12. But if that wasn't the end of a great arc, I probably would have picked Alienated 4.
Sure, that's fair.
I didn't read that, but
Nick, you're making me so happy week after week.
I know.
I don't have to represent Green Lantern. Someone else is representing Green Lantern, and that makes me so happy.
It's just a book that I get the last page, and it's just like, oh, that was just fun. Like
it's weird and fun.
Just fun. It's just I'm really enjoying it. So I got to give it up for that. Like 4 Kids was awesome, and We Can Never Go Home was awesome. Alienated, amazing. Heroes in Crisis, love it. Flash is so great, but Green Lantern's just
Yes.
Like it got me to like start a whole new binge. Like now I have to go between Flash and Green Lantern because now I have both to cycle through. And I started even further back because it was like we'll just start at one, and someday maybe I'll read Jeff John's run. I hear it's good, so hopefully I get there someday.
All right.
Chaos, you should catch up.
Yes, you should.
You should catch up.
Yeah, I'm also behind. I'm like I caught up on season 1. I like it's hard for me because I like get in those modes with this book where like I want to read like 6 issues in a sitting because it's really like hard for me to understand, I guess, in like a simple way.
The second one, like I still don't understand season 2, but the individual book is more fun to read. Season 1, you would read like issue 3 and you got done and you were just like, oh, okay. But this is just fun to read and you're like, I don't know what's going on, but they're bright colors and weird stuff is going on. So
I got a Parallax Forever. Yes.
I still have not read Finger Guns 3. It is the top of the stack. So Tuesday when I go back to work, that'll be the first book I'll read.
Parallax Forever, Volume 3, Green Lantern. That's my jam right
there. So only 2 volumes to go.
That's it. Well, 2. No, we're on 5. We're on 5 right now.
I have read some Parallax stuff.
Volume 1 is Alan Scott. Volume 2 is Where You're At. Volume 3 is like the late 80s, 90s. Volume 4 is New 52. Volume 5 is Where We're At.
Okay.
So you get a lot.
Plus all the tie-ins.
And Figure Guns is amazing.
I haven't read 3 yet.
Okay, so... All right, so that's our favorite. We've been hyping up something that we've been talking about for a little bit. We talked about it at the beginning. Cole, do you have it to show off?
Yeah, give me a second. I just want to double check to make sure that no one else added any comments since we're here.
Sure. We're going to do our giveaway for Killadelphia A number 1.
Oh, I did. While he's looking for that.
We're going to give away Killadelphia number 1.
This is not the one we're giving away, but...
That is not, because that's Nick's, and he won't...
But I now own 3 copies of issue 1. So...
Which one can I have?
You can have the 5th one.
Once you get to that point.
Yeah, when I get to 5. That way I know when I get to 4, it's like, all right, I got to buy like a...
you
ripped up on eBay.
Yeah, you have 3 number 1 A's.
There's a couple of the Virgin variants on eBay that are like $50-$60 that I'm like...
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it's in there if you just want to share that up.
Oh, cool. There it is.
Calling time. Here we go.
So somebody in the chat pick a number 1 through 5.
And we're going to do the 9th spin, right?
Yes. Half an hour later, we have our winner.
I have a problem? What do I have a problem with?
So the first one I see is 3.
Which one?
So Poser looks like he was before Flash, right? Can you confirm that? All right, I'm going to shuffle this 3 times. So 1, 2, 3.
Spin. Spin. 2. Win. Oh!
Okay,
and they're here.
Yeah. So I've got you on
congratulations.
Twitter. So
Congrats, Chaos. What up? Congratulations. Hell yeah. All right.
Nice.
Good way to go. Good job, Chaos. Because it's a thing to have won the spin to win.
That was exciting.
That was, man.
Fireworks at the end and everything.
Yeah, I'm Wow, the effects of that actually that's going to blow our entire budget.
Cutting edge, yeah.
we
We got nothing else now.
You just Google a wheel, and that's what it gives you.
Yep. Cool. All right. So congratulations, Chaos and Comics. We'll get your info and do that. Now we're going to move on to, we've got a couple special guests here today. You know them, you love them. Lost in Comics, Oscar, Chris, great guys, know their stuff, have very good taste in comics, and they get lost in them on a constant basis. They're just constantly lost.
Always lost.
And they are such generous dudes, they allow us to get lost with them.
Yes, and that's really all you can ask for. So please welcome Oscar and Chris to the stream.
Hey,
guys.
guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for wrapping up with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So, shoot, we can all get lost together.
Yes. Let's get lost in a burrito together.
Absolutely, man.
And then I think we have some sad news, but Cole, you need to get going.
I'll probably stick around till we finish this up. So
Okay. All right. I knew it. You got hooked.
Yeah.
He was like, just a half hour, and then I got to get going. Now he's like, oh, I got to stay. Yeah.
you guys just entice me with your beautiful faces.
There it is.
All right. What are you going to do? So I had my power out earlier this week, and sitting there, I got a notification Lost in Comics was live, and I got to experience Rapido for the first time. Which was fantastic. I very much enjoyed that. Do you guys want to kind of say what you do, what your guys' favorite things are? And then maybe we can talk about your favorite things from this week.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite thing so far is this pants check, bro. I really like that.
It's quarantine. You got to check.
You gotta give the people what they want, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Oscar.
I don't even know. Well, of course, I know we got Rodney Barnes coming up this week, which we got to keep ourselves from geeking out so much, man. We're really excited about it, and man, I'm trying to do all my homework and just show up, talking about what I know, So
which is very appropriate for what we just gave away.
Yeah.
Yes.
When is that going to be?
That's Thursday. This Thursday, man. And man, Oscar, you just let the cat out of the bag just like right away, man.
No way. He's like, hey guys, guess what?
This is why I like to talk, man. I always put my foot in my mouth, so I don't know.
I wouldn't be able to wait to tell people that news either. So
Yeah,
I would have a T-shirt.
Yeah, as you can tell,
I'm talking to Rodney Barnes.
absolutely, man. We're super excited, man. We put out a post today, just kind of talking about our channel a little bit. We like to keep everything kind of light. So we like to, of course, get lost in comics every week. We focus a lot on the positivity of this community. It's very easy to get wrapped up in all the negativity. There's, 100 channels, 1,000 channels out there that are talking about the collapse of the comic book community, how bad the writers are, how bad the artists are. And we try not to highlight that stuff. If we don't like a book, we just really don't talk about it too much. We might just say, hey, it wasn't for us. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we do, man. We get lost in comics. We try to have fun. We try to do little skits in our show. You mentioned Rapido. That's a character that Oscar created whenever our first couple of episodes.
You guys made them, but he's Barry Allen's cousin. I don't understand. What?
I mean, he is who he is. I don't know. I can't speak.
He's not. He's canon, right? I thought this was a DC.
Yeah, I'd love to have him on the show sometime.
He was created in the time stream.
Nice.
As we progressed through the channel, we were able to go in time stream, and he came through somehow. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
But yeah, guys, this is what we do. We love it, man. Like Oscar said, man, we have Rodney Barnes on this Thursday, which I am, and I can't even tell you how excited I am about it. I know Oscar's excited. We're doing our studying. Man, yeah. So we've been focusing a lot lately on trying to get more creators on the show. So stay tuned. We got a few more after Rodney already lined up, and I think you guys are gonna really like those too. So
Awesome, glad to hear.
Awesome. I mean, that's us too. We the last thing we want to do is just crap over anything, because even if it's something you really truly despise, somebody put in a lot of work into it, and what's really the point in dumping it, especially if somebody else likes it? Like we just talked about how we like Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah.
Man.
Bye.
Cool. That is not always the opinion people have.
No.
And like, I guess to hit on like you guys talking about how great the community is, I think Rodney Barnes is like a beacon of that for when it comes to creators. Like I posted something, didn't tag anyone in it. Like, I hate eBay. I didn't get this cover and they sent me the wrong one. He DM'd me and was like, I'll send you that. And I was like, let me pay for postage. And he was like, nah. I was like, what? Like, I was like, I don't think you need to do that. He's like, no, you're a fan. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Wow. That's so nice.
Yeah, some of these creators, man, and Rodney Barnes, yeah, just like you said, Cole. I mean, he's a perfect example of that. I remember, I'm gonna have to try to find it. I'm looking for it for the show on Thursday, but I tweeted him back at the end of 2017, 2018, when he did a run on Falcon. He had 8 issues. I don't know if you guys read that or not, but dude, I'm rereading it now, and it's so good. But I tweeted him back at, like I said, early 2018. And of course, we weren't doing the show at the time. I was just, normal dude, just sending him a tweet. I had, like 60 followers on my Twitter account. Yeah, and he replied back to me, and just that for a fan is, it just melts your heart, man. You're like, oh, dude, Rodney Barnes, this Marvel writer just responded to me, and so yeah, dude, definitely what you said, Cole. He's a beacon for this community, and he exemplifies everything that's that we stand for, you guys stand for. Which is why we're so attracted to you guys, man. You guys are so beautiful, man.
We're attracted
Thank you. And so, like,
You guys also.
since I've got you on, I just need one question. What will it take to get me an autograph from the hottie? Because that's really the only reason I stuck around.
He's been on tour a lot lately. So we can definitely, Oscar and I have a direct contact with him. We actually can't talk to him directly. We have to go through somebody else to get to him, but I'm pretty sure.
5 agents. I mean,
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
He's got kids on top of it. He's filming videos with kids in his arms, and so we can work something out, man. I'm sure we can.
We have apparently we're supposed to from Nat, which is also Jin and something, which you should check her stuff out. Ask her about Sabrina.
she's great.
So, Oscar, Sabrina.
I'm not trying to get in any more trouble, man. So I'm just gonna say thumbs up, man. Thumbs up.
There we go.
That's how you do it.
Fair enough.
Did you guys read Sabrina second issue, or are y'all into that or not?
I think Cole is Cole.
I read the first issue, and I
okay.
did not get the second issue.
Oh,
I think I felt like reading that first issue, to me, it felt like I missed something by not reading like the chilling tales of Sabrina, and I just was like, I mean, I do read some of the Archie horror books. I read Veronica and other stuff. So
I did enjoy the first issue. I didn't get the second one. There was just so much stuff that came out this week.
yeah, I like the art, but
I did too.
These last couple weeks have been a
Full.
lot.
Yeah.
Ooh, there has not been a small amount by it's lockdown is just like, oh, we've been holding this back for a while. Here you go.
There it is. The floodgates have opened.
What's a couple of your guys' favorite issues from this week, or even last week? Because it's just been so much. Yeah, obviously. Besides Sabrina and your absolute love and adoration for everything Sabrina, what else have you been really just gravitated towards?
I'll let you go first, Oscar. Go ahead.
Well, for me, right off the top of my head, The Deceased. I really love that. Y'all mentioned Detective. I really like that as well. For me, I mean, the writing is good. It's a given. The art on top of it, just really, it's a cherry on top for me, man. I just really get lost, without having to use that so much. But I really do enjoy that stuff, and and those are the two books that stand out for me. And then I've been rereading this back to back, and man, it was good the first time. It's blowing me away the second time. I just can't believe how good it is, man. It's so that's
I'm probably going to buy the trade just so I don't abuse my single issues. I was going to wait for a hardcover, but I'm like, no, I need something that I can read, so even my hardcovers then can stay nice.
And you can give the trade to somebody later on.
Exactly.
And then I figure by the time they're wore out, the omnibus will be out, and we're all good.
Yeah, same for me, guys. Yeah, Deceased, man. That was it's like I said on the show the other day. I'm surprised at how the quality is just continuing to go. The standard for Deceased is just continuing to rise.
That movie cover.
And I told Oscar a few shows back.
So much.
I know, man. I told him a few weeks back. I was like, man, they're gonna overdo this Deceased, man. It's gonna get watered down, and but it's totally not doing that at all. So, man, big Tom Taylor, man, just killing it on Deceased, and Batman '94, man. That for me, that was another one that. Of course, I'm a big Batman fan, as you guys know if you watch the show. But Batman and Detective we're getting into that Joker war. It's just so good, man. I love whenever it feels like Batman can't. It just feels like, how's he gonna get out of this? And we're at that point right now, and I'm excited to see where that's going. So good.
Same. Nightfall is my favorite Batman run because it was my first ever introduction to Batman. So when he's on the ropes needing to fight back, but he's just up against Frazier or something like that, and it seems like he can't win, especially now. This is maybe the worst he's ever had to be up against. Yeah. I am really excited for the future.
Yeah.
Me too. And another one that surprised me that I was not reading. I know you guys are. I think all three of you have been reading it, but Something Killing the Children.
Yeah.
I just I finally got on that, and Poser actually sent me the digital for 1 through 7, and I finally got a chance to read that. And I was like, dude, this is.
Am I the only one who doesn't like it? Am I the only one?
Ooh!
It took me. 3 reads on the first issue.
Spicy burrito alert?
Yeah, I need to have an alert for spicy burrito.
Sirens going off.
Whoa!
Flames going above the person's head who said it.
How much have you read, Oscar?
I've read all the way up to I think I didn't read 8, but I read all 7.
Because I wasn't as hot on it, but once I read that 5th issue or whatever the end of that trade is. I was just like, all right, I'm in now. It was the long con. It took me this many issues to be sold on it. But at that point, when you see it, I was just like, ooh, I'm in.
I guess I have to go reread it, man. Because
Matt says that's strike 3, Oscar.
Might as well just kick him. At this point.
I put my foot in my mouth, so yeah, I always do it to myself, man.
but really, though, it's fair because it's not going to get everybody. It's not going to get everybody.
What comic? Well, there's 5. There's 5 of us here. Is there? Could we even come up? Besides, let's skip over Killadelphia. I literally just answered my question. Is there one that we could all agree on? And it's we literally were just gushing over Killadelphia. But that's rare. It's rare to have that book where all 5 people are really into.
I have talked to at least 2 people on Twitter that hate it, that they didn't care for it.
And you unfollowed and reported.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Reported as spam, and
obviously a bot because how?
Yeah, right. Obviously, so I mean, but it is possible.
Do you?
Is anybody reading Stealth?
Todd loves Stealth.
I love.
I've got the first 2 issues on the way.
Yeah. 3. I really was the only thing I was worried about. We did a what's our favorite number 1 from quarantine. And Stealth was one of mine because number 1 ended with such a great twist that I was just I'm really excited where they come from or where they're going to go. And I was really concerned because I'm but in the back of my head, I'm how are they going to follow this up? Because it was a twist that really got me. But now they've really just hit it on stride with like the storytelling, and then the art is just just so solid. But then the story now really has me gripped. I'm like, can this be a longer running series, please?
And I didn't realize until you posted a picture of it, or like you showed us a picture. It takes place in Detroit, which is pretty sweet. So we're all in Michigan, if you didn't already know. So that's like, 2 hours from us. But yeah, I saw Detroit, like Old English D, and I was like, that's weird. Google the synopsis, and it was like Detroit, and I was like, oh, that makes this cooler to me.
Are you both reading Stealth?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
actually, I didn't even pick it up. The number one, Chris is the one who told me how good it was, and I had to go run my butt back to the store and go pick it up, and I did like it, so I'm on it now. I got it. I'm subbing to it now, so I love it.
Good job, Chris, because I feel like it's not getting enough attention for really how solid it is. It's great.
I agree. Yeah, and the first time I read the first issue, I don't know about you, but when I read it, I thought, and when I did a reread of it, it didn't cross my mind again. But the first time, I thought, man, is the sun gonna? I thought maybe the sun was gonna be Stealth, as you're going through the first part of the issue. So that was a nice twist there at the end, and then like you just said, where's it gonna go from here? And I mentioned this on the show the other day, like that issue 3. I thought, man, this could go really south if it's not a really good follow up issue, and it was, man. And it's like, dude, it's just continuing to get better. The first issue, when I read it, I told Oscar about it, and I went and got the first appearance of Stealth right away. I don't know if you guys knew that he made a first appearance in a it was a Robert Kirkman book, and it was like a one shot that he made. It was a first appearance of Stealth, and it was before this series. So I went and got that, and it was
that's my Google.
Todd's like, the week that Stealth came out, I remember telling Oscar in that issue, his first appearance had gone up to like, I don't know, it was like $40 or something. So that's they're very rare. It's like one of those top cow.
Declassified #1.
There you go. Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. When did that come out, Cole? Do you have a
2009 is what Google is telling me. In October, if that
that's
matters.
Cool. I had no idea this was at all.
Oh, that's a Kirkman book too?
Yeah. That's what Chris just said. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I just thought you were saying that the Declassified was, but like Stealth is too, right?
Well, no,
Stealth not.
No,
okay, never mind. Sorry.
Stealth isn't. I
think Mike Costa is the writer on this one.
Yes. Thank you. I was going to go to my notes. Yeah.
Created by Robert Kirkman. Yeah.
Mike Costa. Nate Bellagrade is the artist, and Tamara Bonvillain. I don't know. It looks like Bond villain, but I'm assuming it's not a Bond villain. Colors. The art and everything. That book. I've been hyping it to these guys for like a month now. I'm trying.
I remember.
Good.
I remember when Image put out the like synopsis for the first time, and I remember reading it, and I went, "I'm really excited to buy that trade." And then it started coming out, and I was like, "Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I'm gonna buy that trade." And then now it's like 3 issues in, and Todd's been gushing about it, and it's like, man.
I did just get you an Alienated, so we're
yeah, but I'm very excited for the trade. I'll be picking that up for sure.
Yeah, I got the first 2 issues, and I'll grab the third if I am in, which apparently I should have been, and I should have just grabbed it.
Yeah,
have you guys been reading Alienated?
I have not. No.
Okay.
Yeah. We read one.
We did read one.
Okay.
It's like this, man.
Yeah, it is.
It starts here, but my camera's not high enough, so it just like each issue is better and better. It's really good. Yeah.
I've heard that. I've been hearing that too. And I remember reading the first one, and I had kind of mixed feelings about it. And again, just it's more
so off of Todd's recommendation, I just bought all 4, and I read the first issue, and I'm like, Todd.
Like, funny fact is, I got Todd into the book.
Man, yeah. Todd Cole got Todd into it, and then Todd got me into it. But yeah, first issue was it was good, but I could see if you didn't read on why you wouldn't be very. It's like 3 is really good, and then 4 is just crazy.
I think you and I got a lot in common, man. If I get referred a book and I'm not on it and I hear it's good, especially if Chris will tell me it's good, I'll go and do that. I'll go buy, like, if there's like 10 issues, I'll go back and rebuy them all.
If you can find them all, yeah, I'd
find them. And then if it sucks, then I have to like get mad at Chris. But usually, he's usually pretty right. So.
I only do that sometimes.
Yeah, right there.
I only do that sometimes. I haven't read a single one of these yet. I really hope I like this book.
What is I can't see what that is. What is that?
Oh, Once in Future.
Oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna.
Yeah,
yeah. He's set. He's fine. He doesn't need to worry about it.
This is what showed up today, by the way. If you saw the tweet earlier about the mystery box, technically I got these 2 from Comic Signal, and all these came in. But it was I should get the eBay seller's name because, like, this is the best packaging aside from In Stock Trade's old method. Just. Like, it was wrapped in paper and then in cardboard and then in another cardboard and then taped shut, and they arrived just beautifully. They were all in boards and bags and just, yeah.
We're going to start just reviewing eBay sellers.
Yeah.
Which honestly will probably get more views because that's important. That's a big deal.
I don't know. Unless I'm not the only one, I've had it where I've ordered one off eBay and I'm really excited because that's usually one that it's like I can't find it locally.
Yeah.
And then you open the mailbox and the package is just kind of bent a little and it's heartbreaking. So it's great to have the good package.
I'm really into vinyl too, and I've had a vinyl record show up like this, and I'm just like, I know what that is. I don't even want to open it because that hurts.
Yeah.
This is the best vinyl in my collection.
There you go.
Nice.
I found it for $1.
It's just no.
The songs are Batmobile, Batman theme, the Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin. Batcape is its own song. Dr. Death, the Catwoman with a space. Batcave has a song. Robin, the Boy Wonder. The Bat, which is a dance, and then the Bat Signal also gets a song.
Oh, hold on. Nat Alienated is from Boom.
I put it in. I chatted it.
Oh, did you? Oh, there it is.
I did the chat. I chatted.
I had just
I think I for real have to leave this now, but I just wanted to thank Chris and Oscar. It was awesome having you guys on, and it was great talking with you guys for a first time. So thank you guys.
Cole.
Bye.
Bye, Cole.
Have a good night. Okay. Yeah, I saw Wes's tweet about his new 52 books that came in. That was sad. It's always a travesty because you can't get it back. There is no coming back from a damaged comic book.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I was just thinking, I ordered some books on eBay for Oscar and gave him a little gift. And I got the books in as 5 issues, and dude, they put them in just a USPS, just those flimsy.
No, the cardboard, the paper.
Oh, and dude, those books were just trashed when we got them, and I was like, dude, I felt bad, but I was like, well, it's a gift, Oscar.
They weren't back boarded. They were wrapped in one bag with some bubble wrap, and that was it. They weren't even back.
They weren't even boarded.
I bagged them, all bent up and everything.
That's devastating because it's just gone. It just sucks that they know what they're sending, and it's like you know it's not gonna make it.
It's like I don't have it. I do, but it's like I don't.
Yeah. So I think that's a good idea for a comic book story. Is a vigilante who goes after eBay sellers who don't package their comic book right, and he goes and gets them. Gives them a beating. So
yeah,
that's a skit.
Good. So, do you guys have? I don't know if you can tell from my. I literally have a green glow, and this, and maybe a yellow lantern scarecrow. If this tilted up, there would be the entire Green Lantern Corps up here. I may or may not be
Brand
a
or not,
really big Green Lantern fan that may or may not be my guy, specifically Kyle Rayner. Do you guys? I know you're wearing a Captain America shirt. I have a Captain America shirt. It's not indicative of your favorite character. Do you guys have like those people that you're just like
who's your top
who's your guy
or gal? I guess.
Yeah.
So for me, man, I mean, and I hate to be, that guy, but
It's Batman, right? Yeah.
Batman, right here, but Batman, Wolverine, and Punisher. Those are my three.
Cool.
My top three.
Do you have a favorite Batman run? I'm gonna put a B on that. What's your run that is also just the one that?
What's the art?
Yeah.
For me, it's Batman New 52, the Court of Owls. That's just that to me. That's just the top of the mountain for me, man. Yeah. So good, man. And I can reread it. Yeah. So good.
That's tough to beat.
Yeah, it is.
I would say there's only one story that would beat that, and it's this one called Nightfall. But that's just one man's opinion. Outside of that, Court of Owls, Nightfall is just huge just for me in comics, but Court of Owls is so good that somehow it can get close to nostalgia, which nostalgia is really hard to beat.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's awesome. That's Nick's. Oh my goodness, Nick and Court of Owls, man.
I was going to tell you, my Micah, my 13-year-old, slammed through Nightfall, all 3 volumes, in the past like 2 or 3 days. Like he just they're big, man. It's like
a lot.
Comics, man. It's a lot of comics, and he was just like, shh. I haven't read it yet. And my copies are tore up from these boys going through Nightfall. So I gotta find more books like that they can just use and abuse and go through and fall in love with, because it's cool to watch. But yeah, he did just go through Nightfall. So
great choice. Oscar, who are your people?
I think my go-to, the thing that always pops in my head for me is Joker. I know he's not a hero, but
it doesn't have to be a hero.
That I love, everything about him. So it kind of streets the Joker that Batman that laughs, but he's still in the same realm with them. And then Old Man Logan or Wolverine, definitely second there. So, but yeah, those are my guys right there, man.
Nice.
That's awesome. I love that. So I'm not gonna ask what's your favorite Old Man Logan run, because I think I might be able to deuce that one.
Who's your favorite Joker, though?
Yeah, but what's your favorite iteration of Joker?
Comics or movies or whatever.
Well, my favorite in movies is, of course, the Heath Ledger Joker. That's by far my favorite.
Sure.
And as far as I guess stories, I guess I'd have to go with. I guess the stuff is pretty recent now. I guess I don't have a whole lot of older stuff. I got.
Did you read the Smile Killer one?
Yeah,
that Black Label book.
Yeah, that was really.
Was really good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
The family run as well. The Joker was involved in there. Was probably one of my favorite, which I guess has to do with you too, right? So.
Yeah, I was gonna ask I was excited for you to say Death in the Family, because it's like, oh, you guys are like meant to be a duo, because like it's just like almost right next to each other. I love that, and I also love that the dichotomy of like I'm Batman and I'm Joker. That's great.
Yeah. For when we first started the show, Oscar wanted to kind of play on that a little bit, like he was the villain and I was the hero type, but
nice. I don't know if you guys follow wrestling, but that's the heel in the face. You got to have that like that back and forth. Oscar, are you a wrestling fan?
Huh?
Are you a wrestling fan?
It's not so much now, but yeah, I used to be.
Okay.
I have a luchador mask that I use I used to use once when we started the show.
I have one too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I can't help but put it on and just be crazy with it, man.
Right? Yeah, totally. That's awesome. you guys want to shout out your stuff again? And yeah, let people know where they can find you and get lost in. Do you guys have a catchphrase? Get lost with us or anything like that?
Get lost in comics with us, guys. We're on YouTube. Lost _N space comics. Lost in Comics. Find us on Twitter. Lost_comics and Instagram. Lost in Comics. But yeah, guys, just like we do, just like you guys do, man. We just get lost in comics every week. Weekly YouTube show. If you didn't hear us earlier, Rodney Barnes on the show this Thursday. Cannot wait, man. We're gonna pick his brain. We're studying, getting ready for him.
What time is that?
It's at 5 p.m. Central Time, so 6 Eastern for you guys.
Nice.
Yeah,
Perfect.
man, excited.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited for that. I will for sure be there checking that out. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
It's a lot of fun. I had a good time with you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, us too. That was great. And I love positivity in the comics world. It needs it. There's no reason not to. We all love it. Why not just get swept up in it? There's no reason to hate on it. Let's just have a lot of fun and just enjoy what we're doing and what we're reading.
If you focus on the positive and what you like, it's not difficult to find other people who are similar to you that you can connect with and have a conversation with and just have a fun time with. So it's
yeah. And if you follow us on Twitter, you hear me saying that all the time. And every time I hear somebody that's like, "Oh, I'm tired of the comic book community. Everybody's just just criticizing each other, whatever." I'm like, no, I mean, there's good people, man, and you guys are part of that community. We love interacting with you guys, with Cole. There's a ton of good people out there, and we try to be ourselves, and then we'll find those people, and we just want to keep taking that darkness out of here, man. So
I love it. Oh, it makes me so happy because the world sucks so much, and it doesn't need to suck all the time, though.
Exactly.
Especially with something just so fun as this. I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I hope to be able to do this again. I hope to get wrapped up with you guys again. Somebody said the Lost Burrito, I think was somewhere in the chat at some point. So I would love to make a Lost Burrito with you guys again. But yeah, thank you for coming on, and yeah, hopefully we'll be in touch because Twitter and YouTube, what are you going to do? All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
See you next time.
Peace out.
All right, bye.
See you guys Thursday.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Oh, I love those guys. They're so great. Oh, they're the best. Positivity. There's a lot of chat. I can feel Todd. I don't know. I can feel Todd. I don't know what that's in reference to, but thanks. I feel me too, but it's a lot easier.
I felt Todd once. It was all right. It was all right. It was all right.
We are going to have somebody else on because we can't.
There's more burrito.
Oh, but there's more burrito.
Second serving of burrito. So we're gonna get that going. But yeah. Oh,
thanks. Thank you, guys.
If Nat
is awesome. Everybody's awesome.
If Nat is still there, she just commented. So I was going to save this until the end, when we were going to talk about what kind of stuff we were looking forward to, but with Cole being gone and stuff anyways, these did finally come, and I'm really excited from all the hype that Nat and you guys and everybody have been given. I'm really excited to go through 8 issues of what supposedly is supposed to be one of the best books out right now. Second serving, once in future. There she is. I don't even know, Nat, what this is about. Like, if someone was like, Nick, tell me what once in future is about.
No one tell him.
No. Please don't.
Go and tell him. Just let him go in blind.
Yeah, I'm not looking up synopsises or anything. I'm going in real fresh with this one, and I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to come up with a catchphrase. The whole wrapping up with us. So, waiter, please order me a side of queso with this burrito. Yeah, there he is. Oh, in all the love and positivity that Lawson Comics has, we get the opposite.
Nick, are you drinking out of a boot?
I am.
Das Boot.
Das Boot.
I'm drinking white wine out of a boot.
Nice.
Here's our side of, thank you, waiter, for bringing me my side of queso with Comic Book Poser. Hell yeah.
Hi.
Perfect. So instead of we did have this we had it ready for Nick to be alone, but I will I'm going to put up the counter because I'm a go pee.
The Todd P count.
The Todd P counts at 1. That's pretty good for an hour and 5 minutes in. I think that might be my record.
It's a new record.
All right. And then once we get back, we'll talk about
you.
If you want to talk about the stuff you read this week and your top book of the week.
I already see a book that I didn't talk about.
When we get back, we'll talk about each of our most anticipated books of next week.
I was working on that list while y'all were talking to Lawson Comics.
Perfect. Good. So you'll be all set. Whereas I'm sure Nick will need to hear a list.
Yeah. So Nick, you'll be surprised by this.
I will be.
I pulled 3 Marvel books this week.
They had 3 books that came out?
I am weeding through the stack to do my weekly rankings video.
Yeah.
None of my Marvel books came even close to my top 5. Like,
wow.
The only one that would be close, they re-released Claremont's X-Men God Loves, Man Kills, one of the classic stories.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet, but that's one that people keep telling me I need to read.
If you did not pick up one of the ones that came out last week, you should.
Okay.
Because they added art to it. So it's almost like you get some extra trade art, but they updated some art in it. And then it's almost like back matter that shows up in a trade in the book. And that was something that was really cool, that picking that book and putting that in my top 5 would be cheating, because Claremont's X-Men is way up there as one of the hallmarks. But
Sam King wants to know if you're reading Ghost Rider.
No, I've never really been able to get into Ghost Rider. And Sam, if you've been able to convert the DC folks into picking up Hawkman, my problem with Ghost Rider is I never know which one to pick up, because there's Ghost Rider, there's Cosmic Ghost Rider. Like, I know when picking up a couple of books, I know who Batman's going to be. I know who, Spider-Man's going to be, but I don't know at any point in time which person is now the Ghost Rider. And I think that's hard as an entry point for me into someone who's never really hopped into it.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I don't read it either. So
you need to read Finger Guns number 3.
So here's my box, right? With my old jury summons on it. I believe it should be. Oh, I have Sonata on top, but it's in here. There it is.
So Cole was giving me shit because the 2 times that I talked about Finger Guns leading in to this week's preview video on Finger Guns 3, I talked about how it's kind of a good lighthearted read.
Okay.
Yeah. It takes a hard turn. Like, that Alienated number 4 blew my mind, and like that book shook me for a couple of hours.
Oh, I'm still thinking about it, and I read it on Thursday.
Yeah. Like, book 3 set you up for that turn, right? Because you started to see some of Samantha's struggle.
Yeah, 3 was rough for me.
This book, like, there's a dance party in the first 5 pages, and then it just goes dark. And if Nat is still in the chat, if I see something pop up from there, I tweeted out earlier today that I've laid out, I think I'm up to now 5 interviews throughout the next 2 weeks. So my clue for one of the people that I'm interviewing, and there's Nat's comment.
Oh.
I had a back and forth with Justin Richardson today.
Do I need to stay up like after this and read it before I go to bed? Otherwise, it's going to be Tuesday because I'm going camping tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is that good. And in talking to Justin, he was like, well, if you want to talk about how cool Finger Guns is, here's number 4. And it is going to be real hard for me in our Discord to not be like, because it's that book. It's my pick of the week. That it goes. It goes. No, number 3. I haven't read 4 yet. I'm gonna open that when we're done. But it goes. Finger Guns Alienated. That.
Wow.
It's good. And being up there.
I think I lost you there for a second. I lost you there for a second.
Did I blink for a second? My computer's been being shit.
Yeah, you're all choppy.
Weird. Hold on for a second. I'm gonna. Oh, you can't kick me out and then let me back in because Todd's taking the world's longest pee.
Yeah, he is.
But in terms of DC stuff this week, was it?
So we are, Todd. We are just starting his picks of the week.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying not to double up on everything y'all talked about. But like I told Nick, he should read Finger Guns, that it's my pick of the week, just above Alienated. And then it's rounded out by a bunch of indies aside from Lois Lane. Like Lois Lane made me laugh. It made me cry. And there's a really good, so two or 3 weeks ago now, Bruce and Stephanie, who do comics and beer on Friday nights, their big end of the month giveaway for June was a bunch of Greg Rucka stuff. And he kind of alluded how there might be another storyline. But this for me was one of those books where if it's done, like I felt everything I needed to and can move on. If it continues, I'm really excited. And then Green Lantern to me, like, I think if I embrace the fact that I know nothing since, like, so books 4 and 5 have just been seemingly non-essential to any kind of storyline, even including book 3, until we get to those final couple of panels of book 5. I will say it's been a while since I've seen a good pop art style comic. Yeah. And that's where kind of I flipped open Green Lantern. I was like, what the fuck is this? Okay.
Yeah.
And then what else is in
so
there?
Good, man. I'm really like, I adore it. It's just like, that's, I don't know. But yeah, you definitely, if you're looking for a book that you can like understand and all that, it's not the one right now.
And I like Grant Morrison is one of those people who's earned the ability to fuck with you for a while.
Yeah.
Like he can fish because
But it was issue 3 that did it. That it was like that was when I strapped the seatbelt tight and was like, let's do this.
Because it looks like you're flipping through a photo album.
Yeah.
Like, but after that, like any semblance of a story is gone, and I was like, what is this? But I liked it, and when I got to that last panel, I was like, okay, I think I can see what you're about to do in the next book, and I think like number 6 is going to be a good end of the arc. Here's the question that I'll ask you all: is Cole the only one reading Justice League? Or are there
No,
two of you? Oh.
Todd is. Todd is.
Nick's the only one who's not.
Spurrier is only on it, and it flips back to Vendetti.
You cut out.
Spurrier, the guy who wrote this one, is he only on it for 3 books, and then it goes back to Vendetti?
I think so, because they took like a weird break. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought Vendetti was like off.
I thought he jumped back on.
Oh, because he was gonna pursue some passion project.
Which, when I was like, I hope it's Dr. Fate. Because I really just want a Dr. Fate book.
Yeah.
And then I read Dead Planet this week, and I think, aside from me being like, remember my outrage about Dr. Chimp or Detective Chimp?
Yep.
I felt that at the end of this week's book, but I like these Elseworld DC book. Like, it's hard to talk about because I know there are people who didn't get it this week because of some of the transitions to other distributors.
Yeah.
And like my write-up on the blog was like, I'm really conflicted about these Elseworld DC tales, a la insert timestamp to me getting mad about Detective Chimp on the comic Burrito. And then like, I'll talk about this next week on Friday when I know everybody should have gotten it. But I think where I'll get more into it, and it's the same point on Metal. I think tomorrow I just need to. I think I've got 3 of the 5 deceased titles and 0 of the Metal titles since I'm sending number 1 to Cole now because of the rigged wheel. That I think I'm going to dig in and read those 2 because I like what's going on with Deceased, but I feel like, you know, when I got confused at the end of Unkillables, and it was because I hadn't read Deceased 5, that I think that same kind of thing is going on. Although I like the idea that Cyborg can still like keep on trucking as a severed head.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's cool.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff, and I like how he like when there was the digital Hope at World's End, digital first, I think they're calling it. I was really mad because like Dustin Nguyen is one of my favorite artists from Descender, and I'm like Tom Taylor and Dustin Nguyen, and I'm like, this is my book, sign me up. And then I see it's digital, and I was just like heartbroken that I couldn't like hold it in my hand.
Did you know that Tom Taylor is like, on a Marvel book next week?
No.
It's him and Hickman on the free comic book day X-Men book.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I saw that and was like, yeah.
Yeah.
The price is right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I love how the digital book just kind of fills in the cracks, like it's background story for all the other stuff coming in. So it's just kind of like bonus content.
Yeah. And I think I need to go back and check those out too, because I'm like, y'all turned me on to reading Injustice because of the stupid game that I'm bad at.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm wondering if like the same kind of thing is true. Like, if I want all of this content to understand the universe, do I need to embrace like Deceased? Do I need to embrace the digital firsts? And will that give me a greater understanding? Because I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm not willing to say it's bad, and I'm not willing to say it's not for me.
I figured the digital first, they're 99 cents, and the Hope at World's End reads just like Injustice. Like, it's the real fast, full page. Like, it's fun, quick read. It's filler, but like issue 4 had like some Damian Superman stuff going on with a little Alfred in there that was just. It was some of my favorite stuff. Like, if we went back to favorite stuff, now that I'm thinking about this, like that book might actually creep up in there now, because it was really good. And I figure if I pay $1 for it, enough people pay $1 for it, maybe they'll release like a trade or.
So on your top 4 digital firsts that are filler material for an ongoing series,
would be issue 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Hope at World's End, because it was the only ones I got. But no, issue 4 would go on just overall.
Yeah.
It was really good.
And y'all talked about Flash on Thursday. I was like, I didn't hear y'all talk about Flash. You did on Thursday.
Yeah, Flash good.
Yeah, Flash good.
Flash
good. I think you all have converted me to the dark side. And I think part of the reason why it's easier to like DC more than Marvel now is I'm getting two Justice League books in back-to-back weeks, whereas I've been waiting after distribution started another 6 weeks on like some of the filler X-Men titles. But like I think as I'm clearing out some of my pull list to make more space for a lot of these really good indies, I'm sacrificing my Marvel titles in front of everything else. And that's hard for me because, you know, I fully don't understand what's going on in DC, but they're at least winning the consistency game post the pause. And I think like DC Universe is better at offering more modern or more recent content faster than Marvel is.
Yeah.
Is that true? I thought Marvel Unlimited was 6 months. No?
Last I knew it was, but I think DC might be putting some stuff on early, especially when it comes to their animated movies. Maybe I might be wrong, but it seems like they might be.
I would highly recommend Justice League Dark Apocalypse War that just released in terms of DC animated universe. That is a fun film.
I'll talk to you all about this. So earlier this week for my the other blog that I'm contributing to over at Bam Smack Pow, so I found an article that was a DC insider essentially confirming that a Justice League Rebirth movie is in the mix, which I've read Justice League Rebirth stuff. Y'all turned me on to that, and it's decent. But coming off of the heels of the Snyder Cut and all of the hype that's coming with it, and we know that the new Batman movie will introduce the multiverse, is all of the work and money that's going into Snyder's Justice League cut going to essentially be crushed, and will people be confused by DC if they jump in multiverse Justice League like within a year afterwards? Because like Marvel didn't start acknowledging some of the multiverse time travel stuff until we got to Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, but I think that has maybe prepped the general audience to the point where they can get away with that, where DC can get away with it now because Marvel's already kind of shown that.
They forged the way, and now DC.
That's a good point.
Right, they can it's not a new concept to people.
Well, it is because it's still one of those things where people are like, it's not the same like time stream anymore, and Cap did this thing, and like it's still it's still like
people are going to argue about it, and people are going to find flaws with it, and they're going to find a way to complain for sure. Did I see that there's going to be an HBO Max Batman prequel show?
It's the spin-off of the sparkly vampire Batman guy.
Right.
It's a detective show.
Origin.
Twilight?
Yeah.
It's Robert Pattinson prequel show.
I don't know if it's a prequel or if it's an extension of the universe, but it's happening, yeah.
Okay. I see stuff like that sometimes, and it's like, ooh, and then later I find out that it's like, no, that was bullshit. And it's like, oh. So
I will say in the chat, Nat says that she can't get into anything DC, and she talks about Vertigo. If you want to get into Vertigo, I highly recommend The Wake. It's my favorite Vertigo title, and it's
I own that, right?
You own it. You just haven't read it.
I haven't read it, but I own that.
I would say that based on Nat and I's Discord conversation about Fallen Angels, she would feel guilty about liking Transmetropolitan because Transmetropolitan is a good story, but as we have discovered in recent events, like Warren Ellis most definitely deserves to be canceled.
Yeah, yep, that's true. That's true.
I'm
And also,
really upset that I'm not going to get my Batman Dinosaur book because I was really excited for that. I like.
what do you do?
Yeah, I
We don't
know.
have books right now. Like that's the
Heck
thing. Like
yeah.
I'm like, whatever. Also, Cole makes a really good point. Sandman. Thanks, Cole. I don't.
Oh,
what-
yeah. When you were
what-
talking, I thought you were going to say that. I thought that's what you were going to say.
I
and then you
literally didn't think about Sandman. There it is.
I still think Green Lantern get through season 1 and
Get through season
get
1.
through.
Was
It's really good, but I think Nat would really like season 2. But it's worth reading 1 and Black Stars.
and Black
It's good
Black
stuff.
Stars-
But
Black. It's
you get
rampant
to,
because
when you get to season 2, you're gonna love it. It's
Black
I
Stars
don't think
better than season 1. I think
I
in
don't
season
think-
1, Black Stars that it's like it ramps really well.
yeah.
I don't think Nat would like Black Stars. I
Okay.
think Nat would
only
appreciate
3.
Green
It's only
Lantern
3.
season 2 because of the art. Like
Yeah.
the breadth of the art and how 1 and 2 flow together, but 3, 4, and 5 feel like one shots. Like that's where I think Nat would get some payoff. Oh, Cole had to have some
Cole.
wifey time. My
I
wife
really-
got mad. She
Using
was like,
that
"Is there
Disney
no
Plus.
dialogue in this?"
How do I make this
No.
its own like panel? So that's Cole.
Yeah, Cole, can you set up your camera so that we can watch you watch Hamilton?
Here we go. He's singing the
That's-
whole time.
That's how Perry got 8,000 YouTube subscribers
Right,
is
yeah,
by
that's a good
reacting to
idea.
stuff. So
Yeah.
Cole's porn stash reacts to Hamilton. You see
Just
little
as-
ticks up.
Just his porn stash. Yeah, just.
Yeah.
It's just a super close up.
All right. So I think the last thing Todd said before he went pee was talking about books he's excited about next week. And my
Sorry.
list is
Sorry. 1 second. I'm sorry.
okay. Nope.
Sam King is apparently a huge Hal fan, and he couldn't get into the Mew GL at all.
Sam, where did you give up? Where did you
I
give up?
That's
When
what
it
was gonna be
became
my
Mew.
question.
Mew.
Yeah. When and then there's no Mewtwo, so it's really confusing.
Yeah.
You can add the poser P count to 1. I'll be
If-
back in a second.
If you, Sam, if you did not finish season 1, then you didn't give it enough of a shot. If you finished season 1 and really didn't like it, I was considering dropping it, and then Black Stars seemed cool, so I decided to stick through it. And then I was still considering dropping it, and then season 2 came out like on a light week, so I just kept it.
Issue 1, Season 2.
So you made it through Black Stars, issue 1, season. I would go to 3, man. I know.
You're so close. You're so close to just
I-
like it's
3
only.
seriously. I Cole's not here. I don't know if he's listening or not. But I
No,
told
he's listening to
I
Hamilton.
told him once. I'm like, I'm a little nervous because I think I'm gonna drop Green Lantern. And
You told me that too, and I was like,
yeah, I'm like, Todd's gonna be really sad about it. But I think I'm gonna drop it. And it's issue 3, season 2, issue 3, and it was just like full steam ahead. And now I'm reading like old runs, and I'm just for a couple days I didn't read any Flash because I was reading Green Lantern. And he's back.
"Oh, all right."
I know
everything
it's
we just said.
but now that I've gotten through to current, all that other stuff is so much better now. Like I want to go through and reread it all because I think I'm gonna like get more out of it the more I read through it.
Yeah. And
It's
Sam,
not
like I have hopped on both Flash and Green Lantern at like the hype up titles. So I started pulling Black Stars. I started pulling Flash at Flash Forward. And where I was kind of on season 2, number 1 was like, okay, I don't see the full build to Black Stars. 2 to me was kind of cool, but I'm exactly where Nick is on this, that season 3 hooked, or book 3 hooked me.
Yeah.
In terms of watching how Morrison will kind of play with everything that can happen in the Green Lantern universe, the way that this 5th book ends. And you know, I nowhere understand Green Lantern. Neither of us combined understand Green Lantern, but like what Morrison is doing here
What was that?
is
Sorry, you broke up. What was it?
Oh,
Neither of
I
us.
said understand Green Lantern as much as Todd does. But what Morrison is doing,
I was concerned. He's like, I know I do.
Yeah. But what Morrison is doing, really good reading that, you know, I'm starting to learn about all of the different lanterns from the films, or like Nick has. I picked up 2 hardcover trades from an auction, and I can't remember whose run it was. But like I'm slowly starting to piece some of that together. But
the hard thing with Green Lantern is there's so much.
Yeah.
Like it's massive, which is I mean, but it's really good. So if you can devote just that little bit of time to it, it's so worth it. Really, I know Todd's so excited right now, but it really is. Like it when you start, it does. And I've tried like a couple times because I know Todd loved it so much. And it's like, I don't know what's going on. This guy's head is a volcano, and he speaks weird. And like this other lady is a purple bird, and there's all these things, and you don't know who all these people are, and they seem so important, and they are. And it's like,
when did White Canary or Black Canary become a lantern? I know I'm crossing the streams now.
You're crossing the streams.
Deceased is Canary becomes a Green Lantern.
Okay, well that answers that question.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
I can't even like describe, because this makes me so giddy and so happy, because Green Lantern really does have like, you have to just commit to getting into Green Lantern. You can't it's one of those, like, I try not to gatekeep with Green Lantern. I tried when people are like, when I try to convince people to get into it, I'm like, check out Blackest Night. It's accessible. It's something that like can make sense. It opens up the world to you, but it's also Jeff Johns doing his best to make it work for multiple people and make it really accessible. So it's like this double-edged sword where it's like, see if you like Blackest Night, and then they're like, okay, now what should I read? And I'm like, okay, it's gonna get weird.
But you're still, even with Blackest Night, I've read it 3 times and I still feel a little bit lost. Green Lantern, you have to just like be okay with knowing that you're not gonna necessarily know everything, and just enjoy what you can get out of it.
And I get
and
that.
the more you read it, the more you're gonna get out of it. That's the cool thing about it. Is it's like there is so much, and the more you read and the more you get, and it gets richer and richer.
And that's the whole thing that I told you. It's just like you need to lean into the unknown.
Yeah.
You just need to be okay with like not understanding and read past it, which is really hard, because like when you read comics, you want to like,
you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure it out. I am at least. I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, this statement is going to feel super sacrilegious for me, and I know Nat might come after me in the chat. I almost treat reading Green Lantern like I'm reading an indie book, where I'm not going to know everything, but when I need to know it, they'll let me know.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just, you got to trust, and you got to just read it and then be like, okay, so this thing did a thing that made another thing happen.
Yeah.
Man,
the great thing is when you reach the end.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah, and when you reach the end, if you don't get it, you can always just go back to 1 and and go back through again. And if you still don't get it, then maybe it's bad. I don't know. Or maybe you're bad. I don't know.
700 issues twice, and then make your judgment.
Yes.
Yeah. Give it a fair shot.
Yeah, so it's always been hard for me. Like I couldn't have pushed less on you guys getting into Green Lantern. I never.
No, yeah, because you don't.
I love it. I never go, oh, you gotta read this, because I know it's so much and it's not gonna like work. So it makes me really happy that you guys have like fallen in to enjoying it, not just reading it, because it's one thing to read it, it's another thing to be like, oh, this is really good. The fact that Nick keeps putting it on his like top list for the week and like for what he's reading makes me so happy, because it's different than just reading it. Enjoying it is just so cool.
Yeah. I'm just surprised it's
Whoa.
to people.
You're surprised. That's all we got. You're breaking up.
It's taking Nick less recommendations to actually listen to people about good.
It's taking 2 now.
Yeah.
Apparently.
3 if one of them is Cole.
Yes. Hey, Cole. Oh, Cole's actually watching. I mean, no, definitely. Cole recommends one, which is funny because Nick takes more arm pulling if I'm actually not reading something, because Poser and I are very similar. There's very few things we're actually not reading in the scope of things. When somebody says like, hey, you should check this out, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll put it on this massive stack. Why not? I'm already so far in. I may as well check this out. So when Cole's like, oh, you should read Alienated, I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't pick that up. I'll read it. And then I'm like, oh, thank God.
Well, right.
Well,
and
that's
like,
one of
the whole time. Like I made fun of him a little bit, and like I always say that like Todd made me pull Alienated, because he did. I was planning on buying the trade. I know it's a good book, and lots of people are saying it's good. And then finally, but then with your like review, it was like, all right, I gotta get in this now. I don't want to wait anymore. Like,
you don't want to be into that Killadelphia.
Yeah, it took that final push. Yeah.
I find it easier to trade weight on Marvel and DC stuff than I do these. Especially in knowing with a lot of the DC stuff that it's bi-weekly instead of monthly. Mm-hmm. Knowing that I might get one of those trades in like 6 weeks instead of 6 months.
Dude, I think this is...
Did you get it?
I think this is a 3. No, he's been getting it.
I've been getting it. I have all of them.
All 3 of us have been getting it.
Ooh.
It's so good.
This is one of the best books that no one is talking about.
I might be getting the next one soon, because I have a super good Twitter relationship with Wando.
Ooh, nice.
That book is so good, and it just gets lost in the mishmash of being like another horror book in what feels to be a very horror heavy time. But to know
different.
Yeah, but I love people who can write, draw, and color. I love Wando's art in everything that I've seen him on, and to just see him take control on this, like, I know there was a pre-COVID delay on number 3 because of some like dealing with publisher issues, and then
which the publisher is Aftershock, by the way.
Yeah, one of the things that I got from talking to him, because, and here you go, Nick, write this down, because I know you believe in comicsology, and
I don't like comicsology.
Oh, Hoopla. This might show up on Hoopla. He and Eduardo Cintrone wrote a book called Black Birch that they were intending to publish as several single issues.
What's it called?
But COVID, Black Birch. Now it's a comicsology exclusive, and they might go out shopping for a publisher. But it is... Either of you watch Sons of Anarchy?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You remember what happens when they go to Ireland?
Oh, fuck yeah, I do.
The baby mill season?
Yeah, I do.
So this is a comic essentially about like a small town baby mill and kind of the struggle to justify the way of life. You don't see that story And I don't know, like Eduardo Centrone does a lot of short films and advertisements, and I think this was his first comic. And like he's in New York, Wando he's in Tokyo or somewhere in Japan, and they collaborated on this title and decided to make it a Comixology exclusive. It is fantastic, and there may be 2 more arcs coming depending on how the sales are on the first one. But like, I just name on it. That it's a good baby mill story, because instead of like Sons of Anarchy, where it's like they stole our baby and the Sons of Anarchy Dublin must take them down, like it's looking into trying to justify kind of the way of life in a weird way. So kind of like what came out last week, God Virgin Brides.
Yes.
There are rules that surround what you can do with your firstborn children. Like, when do you get to keep a child versus when is it your duty to get pregnant to then put a child up for adoption, the betterment of the community.
Yep.
That story is just insanely good. And if you like the art and the shock and bad reception, like, you can see that these two just mesh well together, that it was fantastic. And I read that thing like 5 times before I could find words to put together for the review.
Matt, do you want to see some of the artwork?
Oh, it's so good.
It's so solid. Oh my goodness.
Do
you like 90s slasher stuff?
I feel like this is maybe one of the first books. Just that intro with, that's not indicative of the actual art style, but it intros incredibly well.
Yeah. I just love the way that he draws people. Like,
yes.
Like the way that he draws people shows the deformity of the personality or of the spirit, that you really get that in Dark Arc, which he did the art for Cullen Bunn. But then watching where he's got full creative control over the character in these arcs versus like to tell the story in both words and art blows my mind.
Because Wando is the creator, the writer, the artist, and he does the letters.
It's all him. That's literally that's the name. That's the name of it.
There is no other person involved, which is phenomenal.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
That's something when you
that was why I bought this book, and I don't think I've ever talked about it before.
Yeah, when you're small fry and you're just like trying to make it, and you make like your own book, that's one thing. This is somebody who is making something incredibly polished, incredibly well written, with a veteran that is making it all himself, and it shows. There is no compromise in how it is all laid out. How, like, just that it seems like he should have a layout person for how good it all. He just has everything taken together. It's amazing.
It took. How long have I been on this part? Like 30 minutes.
I know. And
Cole finally got it.
Yeah,
I noticed.
I noticed too, but
I did this just for you.
I
got a shirt made to troll Bruce and Stephanie, and then one of the places that does T-shirts here in town, they had a deal. So I was like, yeah, I'll put Isaac's sweet art on a shirt. And I'm huffing like newly pressed T-shirt fumes. Oh, you want to play that game?
This is.
Oh no!
Mine's bigger.
Nope.
That's usually what I hear.
Oh, we'll see who's bigger. We'll see if you can self-promote.
Yeah.
But no, I love that. And it's I do expect 3 Poser Points shirts in the mail for us.
I had to see how they turned out, and I think I will get a couple more made.
Good. I'll wear it.
And they just reopened after COVID.
I'll make you a burrito shirt if you send me a Poser Points shirt.
Done.
There you go.
Yes.
Done.
We have no. We're not even close to making a burrito shirt, but I will literally make one so we can trade.
Yeah, I
If
did
I-
this.
Need
Like I
be,
said,
I
at a self-printing
we were
place in town.
I can make that happen real fast if we need.
He's
to.
got a.
I have a screen printer. I have all the stuff. I just need to set it up. No, I've had it for like 6 years and I haven't set it up.
Oh yes, burrito stickers.
What, did you buy it on Black Friday?
Oh. Yes, he stood in
Oh,
line.
if Wes is still around, Wes tweeted out a brilliant idea that I am stealing, and you all should too.
Let's all steal Wes's idea.
Yeah, Vistaprint does bookmarks,
Yes, they do.
and
yeah.
he did
God, that's
bookmarks at his
amazing.
LCS, and I was like,
Ooh, yeah, we're definitely stealing that. Thanks, Wes.
We're totally stealing that.
Thanks, Wes.
That's
great.
genius. I know they do that too, but man,
yeah,
thank you, Wes.
Ours
Sam?
are 5 cents cheaper than Wes's.
Sam says he's putting his yeah
They're just a little bit cheaper.
just a little bit. Cole's putting his hand up. It's supposed to work, and then Sam's putting. Yes, I am. I don't know what Sam's holding his hand up, but
I think they're high-fiving.
Oh, they're high-fiving. But I will for sure just smear a burrito onto a shirt and then send it to you.
I'll
wet
Forrest Gump it. I'll have a muddy face and just wipe my face in it.
It's a wet burrito too, so it's real gross.
Oh, yeah.
Do you need
Oh, hold on.
Matt?
1-2 Comic Talk is here, and noticed the Yarn Man that I talked about buying as part of a meme, and I blamed Comic Jabroni because my 4-year-old son was in the room as I was listening to it. So I'll give you using scissors because I don't have a box cutter in the state of Kansas unboxing.
Of course, Kansas don't get box cutters, but
So
Cole has dozens.
yes. Cole's torture porn of a basement is going to be like
Just box cutter.
the last place that he hasn't childproof for his daughter. But 1-2 Comic Talk, is that Kevin? I've watched your stuff and I've talked to you on Dylan's, and I can't remember your name because I'm a terrible person. But I know that some of you have talked about this. So here's my live unboxing to go with my Yarn Man. Oh, they're all in one bag. I have Megaton Man number 1.
What?
Number 2.
Oh my God! There's more.
And number 3, which is backwards, so that's anticlimactic.
Oh no, it's okay. The first one was the best one.
But to fully embrace the meme, Megaton Man number 1, first appearance of Yan Man.
Wow, the commitment. I will say
I've just gone.
that gets a Verde burrito for the commitment.
Ooh.
It's a little spicy, and I like it just a little bit more.
A little bit.
I paid less for my 3 issues of Megaton Man than I did for my Yarn Man.
I don't know what that is, but I kind of want it.
Yeah, no, you should.
Chaos, who was in here earlier, was selling his because like Yarn Man, I think was Old Wolf was the first person who was like, this is the hottest comic that exists, to kind of like fuck with spec markets because Comic Tom is stupid. So they all started picking this, and it's a Don Simpson comic. And everybody, how they sold their Yarn Man to buy Megaton Man number 1.
Oh, I lost him.
But Chaos was selling his Yarn Man on eBay for $100, and somebody offered him like $80 and he still turned down. So I think Chaos said he eventually sold it, but didn't specify how much he gave it away for or sold it for. But I am embracing the comic YouTube meme of I bought a yarn man so I could show that I'm cool like the big kids.
Awesome.
Good for
I
you.
love it. So we've gone so far to not go against this. I have to pee again. But when I come back, we are going to do our most anticipated comment of the week.
I kind of have to pee.
Oh, shit.
Should I also leave? Because I kind of need another hams.
Oh, no. Okay.
Do I need... Okay, I'll end the stream until...
Hold on. No, hold up. We're going to do a history first. You guys go. I'm going to stay
his
put.
pants live.
Yes. And I will stay put. All right. Wow. This is the first time I've ever been alone with the stream because mostly because I'm not trusted. And it's probably where that's about right. I don't know why I would be. Hey Sergio, have you been here the whole time? Hi. How's it going? Yay, the Todd Show. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's the Todd Show. Oh, wait, here we go. It's the Todd Show. It's the Todd Show. So, well, thanks for joining it all. I appreciate it. I am just going to rail on the fact that you need to read Alienated. It's something that really holds true to what I think about comics. Comics aren't something that has to be superheroes. It doesn't have to be something that is bigger than what we are, but it needs to kind of grab hold of you. Now, it is something extraterrestrial, something supernatural, something more than what we are. But when it comes down to it, it is a human story. It's about how real life people would react to something spectacular. And that's what it is. So if you're not reading Alienated, I get it's at 4 and you're really close to the end and maybe it's worth trade waiting. When that trade comes out, fucking grab it. Sorry, you should grab it and
go pee. I'll talk about Alienated from here. I got this.
Okay. I have talked about it a lot, but it's just there's so many subjects and so much that hits. If there isn't something within even these first 4 issues that really hits home, I would be really surprised because it hits on so many levels. So
I'll agree with you that it needed a content warning at the beginning instead of that splash page at the end.
Yep. Agreed. It was incredibly heavy, and I think they timed it wrong because that would have been helpful for me and everything that I have dealt with and dealt with others and close ones. It was very personal. I think what's good is it's something that I'm willing to talk about and I'm not scared to talk about. So it worked for me, but I could see how people going into it blind, it could be incredibly heavy and it could be just too much to really handle. So yeah, I think that was poorly timed, but yeah, anyways, you
Go
can
talk about Money Shot.
Yes. Perfect.
For
Nat will be so happy.
Yeah. Now that Nick's wired in, you all should go over to my channel and subscribe. I'm trying to get 250 and I've almost hit 2. But Nat brought up Money Shot. Money Shot, as I'm working on my top 5, I don't know where it is, but this is probably one of the most absurd comics that I've ever read. And you can tell that the creators didn't think their idea would sell if you read the first page of the comic updating you on the new arc, where at the bottom, oh, Cole told me I lost connection. Comic Book Poser, comicbookposer.com, at CBPoser on Instagram, comic_book_poser. But the last line on the first page says, we didn't think this would make for a good or a successful comic book either, but here we are. If you didn't read the first 5 issues of Money Shot, all you need to be aware is that you have a bunch of scientists who make alien porn, and that sets you up for issue 6, because issue 6 is about, hey, they've got funding to either find a sustainable source for their like machine, or they have enough money to go find a new place to travel to so they can up their subscriber count on their alien porn fuck channel. Welcome back, Nick.
Whoa, what's going on?
Money Shot number 6.
Oh, nice. I haven't read any of that.
And what's happening kind of in a parallel to the story is that you see another world that's happening that you know on in book 7 that's where they're going to intertwine. But Nat is right. Money Shot has been one of the best comics that I've been recommended into. That it's just smart writing. And when I was tweeting out my review for Money Shot, Finger Guns, and the third indie book that I talked about today, I accidentally called it Finger Guns 6, and one of the members of the creative team was like, that's everybody on Money Shot. And I was like, shit, I can't tweet, delete, and retweeted it. But Money Shots, it's a very fun book, especially if you're aware of the struggle of what it takes to like fund research projects. And I'll get political here for a second, especially under the Trump administration, who has been in like traditional lockstep conservative form, cutting excess education spending. Like when you have to justify your science, those science experiments need a whole bunch of money. So this book is successful. Like, I think the story could work at any time, but it especially works in the current political climate when we know that education funding is being scaled back in the name of other things. And it just makes it a fun read. And the art in it is really cool. For the first time in the arc, there's a discussion as to whether or not someone got like a sexually transmitted illness from an alien species, even if they wore condoms. Like, it's, if you want an absurd book that is space porn to hide from your children, so Nick can't give this to his kids unless he wants to win softcore science porn father of the year, Money Shot's good. And I'll go on this book at length when I film my video, hopefully when I don't fall asleep tonight.
Yeah, no, I had that discussion with my wife. I said the comic books are now to the point where it's my life insurance policy. So if I die,
yeah,
you can sell them. And she immediately was like, oh, we will. And I was like, hey.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not right away. But
Sergio, you're right. Money Shot it's a good kind of crazy though. Like, especially if you're reading a lot of dark or horror heavy or just like any kind of heavy book, Money Shot is always the book that I would put in like my sixth spot to be that kind of palate cleanse to get ready for more reading. And that's just what made me love it more and more and more.
Yeah, Lost in Comics, you do need to read Adventure Man 2. Both Todd and Cole are super hot on that book, and I am medium. But
I haven't read either of them.
but it's getting better and better. It's like the first half of the first book, I was like, what are they talking about? And then the second half, it was like, oh, okay. And issue 2 is better, and it's a fun book. It's a fun book.
Is that an Image book?
Yeah. So hold on, I got it here. This is
because I know someone who I've read other
Matt
stuff
Fraction.
from is writing it.
Matt Fraction. And there's some super cool stuff in the back of this book too about speaking of like political things and just things going on right now and all that. There's some cool stuff.
All you have to tell me to get me to read something is that they have a playlist in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my too. So if you're
Oh, we're losing you. I can't hear you at all.
I like playlists.
Playlists are good. Where did Todd go?
He went to pee after I came back. We passed the torch on Alienated, and then it was like, money was so good. Nice. Hold your beer. I've got this. I can talk about Money Shot.
I see a book behind you that I mentioned earlier.
This book is so good.
It's a really cool book.
Yeah. And when I was talking to Nat, when we randomly went live, the story that focuses on an actual comic book shop is like, it's 819, like Comics and Coffee. It's somewhere in New York, where as part of the training, they require everybody who works at the shop to read a new book every week. So even if it's like their baristas who know coffee, like they're reading stuff, and you'll like follow them on Twitter, and it's like, we just hired this person yesterday and she's read the first 12 books of Paper Girls as part of her training manual. And it's like, that's the kind of business I want to go to, that even if people are coming to the coffee shop, do it. Or they showed that they Easter egg variant covers around the shop. So instead of thumbing through the new stack to find like the variants wherever they're hidden in the pile, they hide them. They showed like Wind number 1, and they were like, we had Wind number 1 like 4 places around the shop, and we hid a variant here because we want people to walk the whole store. And I was like, that's fucking cool, because that's how you get people. Oh, Pulp 7. That to get people to the idea of reading comics, right? Because if coffee shops are supposed to be this social place, like I would go to a bar that was also a comic book shop, right? Or if 716 existed here pre-COVID or in a world where we're all safe, that's the kind of thing where I would like to get a book and talk to somebody else saw reading it right there. Because I think that becomes a cool exchange, and that's how you get more people interested in the medium. Yes, Cole, you got me when, and then ironically enough, Bruce and Stephanie got me Win number 1 and peed myself because it's good, and I got both of the covers that I wanted because I couldn't add it to my list.
My site
Sergio, I'm pretty sure we have talked about AWA and Upshot, and if we haven't talked about AWA Upshot, we probably will be soon.
Yeah. Well, you all mentioned it on Thursday. I don't know if you all talked about it tonight. I read both Old Haunts today because I never read number 1. And Old Haunts is another one of those good ones that it's just another good, different story from AWA. And as I mentioned in the chat, I got real confused with Hotel because, like, so good. I have 3 copies of Hotel number 1, and I'm pretty sure I read number 1, and when it came out, read another number 1 thinking it was number 2. It's like, What? I swear I read this. But yes, Sergio, I know the Burrito Boys all over their channel have talked about how great it was. I, in a random hot takes video, was like, if AWA doesn't win either Publisher of the Year or New Publisher in 2019, then I'm going to burn something down. Like, AWA is just killing it. And I have cleared long-standing things out of my pull list for new AWA titles.
I think AWA and Boom Studios are the two for Publisher of the Year.
Yeah.
I think they are the ones that can fight it out.
Yep.
AWA, along with Hotel, and
Yes.
they also have Year Zero, which is
Red Border.
Red Border. At Devil's Highway.
Oh,
So good. So good. They are firing all cylinders. But then if you go over to Boom Studios, because this is the thing, I feel like I'm fighting this notion, but they have right now they've got Something Is Killing the Children. They have
Once in Future.
TMNT was fucking fantastic this
That's
year.
IDW.
Oh, that's IDW, sorry.
Yeah.
They have Alienated,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, it's pulled up. Alienated. They have the Buffy series, which I am very happy with where it's at right now. Coda. They're also doing Firefly. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to not include other things they've done because I want to. Oh, not TMNT. They do Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's why I got those confused.
I thought that was also IDW.
Nope, they do Power Rangers.
Boom does Power Rangers?
Mm-hmm. I am on their
I thought
site.
IDW did it because that's how they just had the Turtle Power Ranger book.
No, I think there was a cross thing.
There's a crossover, but they do Power Rangers. Like they do the Power Rangers.
No.
And then Once in
Husband
Future,
of the Year, Cole, who is actively participating in the
Folklore.
chat while watching it. Folklords, Black Badge.
I have to imagine.
yes, Folklords too. Yes,
I have to imagine that right now Cole has like his arm around his wife, but he has one earbud on the opposite side in his ear.
they also did The Woods, and
The Woods.
but they did The Woods. They also did the WWE run, which I very much enjoyed.
Well, I used to be heavy on
Giant Days. They did Giant Days. I'm just saying it's one of those things where AWA definitely should get, if there's a Rookie of the Year award, easy. There is.
What happened
no
to Dark
competition.
Horse?
That's a really
Dark
good question
Horse
because
I was really high on in 2019.
mm-hmm. Right now they have.
Did they get?
They're coming up for this week is all trade paperbacks and hardcovers. They're not putting out what they did at one point. It's really unfortunate.
I mean, maybe they're strapping for money because I know they're not DC, Marvel, and then Image, and then Boom is probably number 4.
Probably.
And IDW is maybe number 5.
IDW and them are probably really close. Yeah.
So that hurts, but Aftershock is straight fire.
Yep.
Boom is doing really, really well. AWA is doing really, really well. That I can't think of. I've been reading new stuff from publishers that are kind of not in their first or second book phase, but they're the people who are on the up and up. None of them can touch AWA. And even in looking at the big two, DC is doing good things. But are they operating on the level of a Boom or an AWA?
No.
And that's a hard no.
No, they're not. DC is coasting really well right now.
Yeah.
they like their engine is firing on all cylinders, and they are cruising down the highway. Sure. But yeah, AWA and Boom are the ones that are like pushing.
Sergio asked how Join the Future is.
Is it Once in Future or Join the Join the Future?
Join
Just
the Future is my number 5 book this week. Only because they're building to something huge, and it's been a slower build. Like AWA, you know, they're building quicker because those are either 4 or 5 issue stories. Boom is building quickly because they've got variant arc sizes. But I really like Join the Future. Join the Future number 2 a couple of weeks ago was my book of the week. And then Sam asked about Valiant. That's Finger Guns. That's Money Shot. I know Cole didn't like She Said Destroy because he bought the Saga variant and was really confused. She Said Destroy, which came out 2 weeks ago. You've got an active story. Like, if if you are going to type any indie publisher into the chat, I'm probably going to read it and be like, oh, they're doing shit that's really good, because that's become Valiant. Valiant's got good stuff coming out. Mad Cave. I know that I talked to Jared a couple weeks ago about Dryfoot. I believe the Burrito may have an interview with Jared coming out soon. Like, Mad Cave stories are dope. That I really think the people who have benefited the most from COVID are indie publishers.
Yep.
They got, because they did it right, and they stood behind their stores, and they stood behind their fans. They did it right. They did the right thing, and they stood with the community and said, we're going to do the right thing, and we're here for everybody else. All the little guys stood up and did what was right.
They're not
why they are where they are right now. They deserve every bit of it.
Yes, that, and they don't have board of directors. They're used to a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
They are trained for things to be hard because it's always been hard. It's not new, like, oh, things are tough right now. And then on top of that, they're not just like, we're going to persevere. We're also going to make sure, because if comic book stores go away, they go.
Yeah.
It's as much like, it's as much smart as it is charity, because they know that it's symbiotic. It's not something that you can take advantage of.
So much so that it's insane that the big two didn't do anything like it.
Yep.
Absolutely insane. It really is.
They're just like, we'll just switch it to digital. It'll be fine. We'll get the same. What's the problem?
I think the smaller publishers or indie publishers that benefited from COVID, I think the one that saw the quickest growth was TKO.
Yeah.
And I think they might be the one that might drop off the quickest because of the way they release books, right? Yep. They release books for people like Nick, right? Yep. Where it's we'll release a number 1 and then the trade, which is kind of what Scout does, where we'll have continuing series, but then Scout also has their nonstop series where they'll release a number 1, and then 2 months later, the full trade comes out.
TKO is a risk because you're either in or you're out. It's you're gonna buy all. Nobody is really buying one because they give one away for free on their website. But you either buy the book or you don't.
Either in or you're out.
You're in or you're out.
I think that's Project Runway. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you're
I've
out.
never watched that.
I do, and I love it.
Well, that's a coincidence then.
But no, exactly. And it's I will say it makes me love them because my heart is a trade waiter, but my reader doesn't but I'm impatient. I'm an impatient trade waiter. So there's some things that I can handle trade waiting, and there's other things that I'm just like, I need to read it right now.
You couldn't trade wait Alienated?
No, fuck that. Not once I read it.
I didn't know what it was at all, though, and it just all came out at once. Like, it's kind of like the Netflix model now, is that like it just like it's here to binge.
Yeah,
like that's kind of the future trend, really, and maybe comic books will go that way.
Night Nat, thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Have a good night. Yeah, no, it's just I honestly wish if I could like change the comic book industry at all, it would be they release trades and not single issues. That would be my ideal, because I get that it's hard because a lot of the times they want to see how something's going.
Yeah.
So they can quit it too if it's like horrendous.
Yeah, they so often don't, though.
But they don't. So I just wish that I could get 6 issues at a time, because we don't talk about it very much because it's not part of our thing. I read a lot of real books, like non-art books, ones that are just called books. There's not a thing in front of them. So I really like having a lot to read at once. It's why I loved East of West. I never got into it, but I read every issue in 2 days because I like to read a lot at once, because I don't like my shit broken. I like to just go through it. Yeah. So I wish that things were just released chunks at a time.
But I mean, that might be where someone like Scout is doing it right, because they have their series that they do issue by issue because they want to build that suspense. They get books. They want to get the conspiracy theories. It's the nonstop books of the here's an issue, here's a sustainable way to do both. But I don't think like
we're losing you now.
We'll ever do that.
You're chopping a lot.
I think Scout is doing it right, where they have single issues and then their nonstop series, which are functionally 1+ trade.
Yep.
I think that's a good way to do both. DC or Marvel will never do that, because they'll make your money off of, here's the 16 DC titles you can buy every week. Here's the 20 Marvel titles you could buy every week.
Yep. Marvel and DC are both clearly moving to a digital first if we're not sure about it. And if enough people buy that, then we'll put out a hardcover or a trade, and people will buy that then. It's definitely moving in that way, where we're just going to see more and more. It's going to chop down, and we're going to have like Batman and a couple main titles, and everything else will be digital. And then if it sells well on digital, you'll be able to buy a physical copy of an entire arc. It's just that's definitely where it's going.
I mean, they worry about initial sales first, and then the collector market second. Like that's what Comixology is, right? Because the number of Comixology exclusives that people are then shopping out to publish to single issues.
Yeah, and that's why some of the smaller companies are doing really well with their limited variants, and they're so expensive and doing well in collectors, because it's the only thing that is actually limited.
I'm going to say something that sucks, but it's more green, it's more environmental to do it that way.
Sure. Yeah.
It is. It sucks that
but you could do weekly digital over every 6 months digital.
Sam, I hate it too. It's a bummer, but
I read a lot of digital because I'm not wasting as much. It's something that matters to me. And the problem is The problem is how fucking backwards it is. Because do you know how many materials and how ungreen my digital product is?
Right.
It will not recycle. It will not get disposed of in a good way when it's done. There is no like great way. So like my big rationale is like, well, it's more environmental because I already have this thing. But having that thing is so much worse than paper that can be like actually broken down and used. So it's like it sucks.
To highlight Frank's comment.
Sorry, what?
Frank, the most recent one.
Got it.
So Frank touches on something really interesting here, and I am conflicted. I think the move
his profile picture is
like
I just
amazing.
The move away from Diamond makes sense to kind of bust up a monopoly.
Yeah.
But you have to think from that perspective, from people who are either not on the East or West Coast, or people who are in smaller cities. So like I am in, a college town in the middle of Kansas or East Central Kansas. When Diamond announced that when DC announced that they were switching to someone else, he immediately called up Lunar because somehow, particularly the West Coast on that map, was not equipped to handle and he was afraid that he was going to miss out on DC for a couple of months because he does not have the shop size or, given the floating the clientele size, to be out to December, which was the DC to Diamond guarantee. And I think that becomes the hard thing about losing sales or DC losing some of the buzz on like social media, because we're all being real cool to each other, right? Like when you all wanted to talk about a book and you knew that I didn't get it this week because it didn't ship to my shop, you all were like, okay, we'll wait a couple of days to do that. And I think the ultimate downside to that strategy was, should DC or should people pull out of Diamond? Probably. But it sounds like DC pulled the trigger before they had all of the pieces in place for the long run.
I think they had this plan in place, and then COVID came, and they were like, "Let's just go now." But I think I don't think they were planning on actually doing it for another year. Maybe after 5G or whatever was going to happen next, they would go, "All right, let's mess with this." And then all this shit happened, and they were like, "Well, we can't put any books out because Diamond said no, so maybe we should try this now." And it worked and didn't in certain ways. I know I talked to a few people that are out of the United States that are really nervous because they're huge DC fans and their stores are not sure if they're going to be able to get books that aren't from Diamond. So as far as the world market goes, that's definitely a little bit of a concern.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound like an asshole for a second, which is not new.
Boo this man.
That's fine.
Did you ever suck dick for crack?
Yeah. 1 second.
Bleep me in post.
He's like, no, I have. we all have.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? That's just a part of life. Here we go. I put the banner on. That's appropriate. Okay. So the people that are against digital, I fucking understand it. I hated it for a very long time.
Yeah.
If you didn't notice, I do the video and editing for this program. I also do photography. That's one of the things that I do in my life that isn't revolved around comic books. I have an iPad Pro. It's a 12.9 inch. I use it for a lot of different things. Yes, I know. I already said boo this man. I made so many disclaimers. I get it. It's a douchebag thing. This is why I'm okay with digital comics.
Yeah.
It's because of this device. I've had a Fire 10. I had a Fire 7. I've had a Nexus tablet. I've had so many other things.
$100, it is okay.
It is exactly.
I will read a comic book on this.
It is serviceable.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
This right here, this thing is why I'm okay with digital comics. It's 12.9 inches. It's massive. It feels
probably is larger than a normal issue, isn't it?
It is.
Yep.
It is. That shit is TKO trade size.
Yeah.
TKO box set size.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't have a TKO right next to me, but yes, it's bigger. It's already bigger than what you're normally reading. Which I guess I don't need to have a TKO book. Here is Wicked and Divine novel next to it.
It's just that,
there's more to it.
Difference.
If it wasn't for this, I understand hating digital because I did not like digital. It wasn't my mainstay until I had this. Once I got it, I understand. And that's why I think that we are at that precipice where this will get more normal, because right now this is special and expensive, and I have it for so many other reasons than comic book reading.
Yeah.
I just also happen to love comic books, so I'm using it for that as well. And it's great. Once that's a norm and it's something that's accessible, and Amazon's putting out things that are at this level and like this size and this capability for a cheap amount, I think
5 years away.
Yes, I think that
5 years.
all of a sudden digital will make a lot more sense.
Absolutely.
So that's my defense, because if you've watched our videos, you've seen how many times I hold up my iPad to show you what I'm reading, and it's because that's it. So yeah, there's that. Oh,
well, digital is good for exploration, right? Because every time someone's like, check this out, I'll download a book for $1 cheaper.
We've got here. Oh.
Hey.
It is your bedtime, Missy.
I know, it's so late, but it's Saturday, so it's late night. Can you say who your favorite superhero is?
Flash.
What is that?
You did your dad dirty.
What is that? What was it? Who was it?
She said Flash.
Flash? Is that Flash? Yeah, it's
Green Lantern.
It's
Green Lantern Flash.
Is Barry or Wally?
Best friend. I'll take it.
Barry or Wally?
Barry or Wally?
I don't know that. I don't.
Barry.
Just pick which one, Barry or Wally.
I haven't seen anything like your mom. Seriously.
It's
I
not.
like her.
It's not important.
It's not important.
They're both great.
And yeah, no, okay. Thank you. Mwah. Love you. What?
I said bye bye, baby.
And bye bye, baby. So no, I'll always be happy if the fact that she didn't say Green Lantern, it's fine. That it's like that hurts a little bit.
She was like Captain America.
Yeah, that would be like, oh, Marvel.
Get out of my house.
Yeah, you're gone. She picked Hal Jordan's best friend and Kyle Rayner's best friend, Wally. Either way, it's like, that's cool. We can be besties. That's fine. So anyways, boo this man. I'm a douchebag. That's fine.
It's true.
Yeah, that's fine.
Frank
It's
agrees
true.
with you. Like, to fully embrace digital, like my wife has an iPad Pro from work, and they're good on there, especially if you want to try and appreciate more art or get just that heightened feel. And even my when I reviewed Devil's Highway last week, I had to buy that book digitally because I didn't order it fast enough.
Yeah.
And Devil's Highways was one of those books that I felt the ending struck me harder in a digital format than the physical did. And I think that becomes like digital becomes better for either fishing for new titles, like guilty of before I want to go hunting for old books from Marvel or DC, I will read them on either of their respective apps first before I start picking up physicals. And I think Todd is right that it's going to eventually become more and more of the new normal as where Apple is at on the iPad Pro is going to become more of the dominant technology that you'll have bigger tablets with higher resolution stuff. And I think where DC has been better than Marvel is hooking people in with those 99-cent through stories to get you amped. Like everybody who wants to shit on Bendis's Superman has been excited about the Superman digital that has come out because it's not Bendis, right?
Dude,
everybody
Man of Tomorrow is really good.
Yeah. Everybody who's amped about Deceased is like, you need to read the 99-cent digital story until Dead Planet comes out. Yeah. So I think DC is doing a good job to connect people. I think Amazon's Comixology is doing something good with the unlimited if you have a Prime subscription. So with all of those unlimited exclusive titles, they're doing a good job of introducing people to the medium, but they're introducing people to books that don't exist in a physical format and may never exist in a physical format. But I think that becomes kind of a good play on, if you are reading comics, are you reading comics to enjoy the story and you don't want to collect the baggage and have longs and short boxes? Or are you reading it because you want the physical? And I think physical books will become more and more coveted as we transition to more stuff going digital, because there are people like the three of us who, even if Todd is reading more digital stuff, if you told him that, you know, you could buy these exclusive print Green Lantern covers, Todd would hunt those down.
I would definitely buy digital like most often if I had something like that. And then when I read a story that I really loved, I would buy a special edition hardcover commemorative with extras, you know, in the back, kind of a thing.
And I have a new setup. You can actually see it. I have bookshelves, and Nick has seen my comic collection. I have thousands. I still pull from my local comic book shop. I'll get stuff digital, and I'll just go to my LCS a little less often, because as I will collect my comic books, but then I'll read them digitally, because I can't cut ties. The fact that digital at this point doesn't help the LCS, I think, is a dying form. I think at some point, to make this thing work, digital will start coming from your LCS, because I don't think an LCS is ever going to die completely. I think there will be fewer of them. But if I could start getting my digital stuff, should help my LCS. I wish I could buy them from like my LCS store. They should be able to have a digital store where I buy them from.
Well, and people who like single issues, like myself, can rejoice because TKO, which we talked about, has already proven that you can release a book all at once in singles, and people will buy it. Like myself, like if for once in future, you know, even earlier that we talked about, I bought a whole bunch of single issues because I like single issues. The trade was already out, but this is kind of how I like to do it for stories that I really like. I like having to put that book away and get the next one out. So that would still be a thing, or could still be a thing for certain books that sell really well digitally.
What was that like? Once Diamond announced the pause, everybody, like, somebody announced there's some comic organization and point of sale system that's like 1,000 stores use, where it was like, your book will come out and you get the digital code through your LCS, and then when all of this shit is done, you can go pick up the physical books from your store at no charge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of system would be ideal, because even if it went from like, you know, I could get all of these books at a $3.99 cover price for $1.99 digitally, but then pay $3.99 to pick them up physically. That still gives the company and your LCS their nut to take care of both ends, and I think that's kind of cool.
Every physical book should come with a digital copy.
Yeah, it should.
And that's where I like Marvel over DC, right? Because if I wanted to,
none of these aren't digital. I'm sorry, you're not handwriting and hand producing all of this shit. It is all done electronically. You have a PDF that you send to the printer, and that PDF becomes the comic book. You have it digitally by making it. So each physical copy should come with a digital copy.
Because I remember the first time you all invited me on, like the week after, you were like, let's talk about a Marvel book, because that's your thing. And I looked at, you know, the two of you, because I know you read less Marvel than Cole does. And it was like, I don't want you all to spend $4 on a book that you're not going to buy anyway, but I could give you a code to share that, versus when you all are like, go read these DC runs, I either have to pray it's up on Unlimited, or I've got to go find a physical copy. Like, I think that's where Marvel was a little bit ahead of the game, because they're like, you can get all of these digital or physical books digitally, just put this code in. And I don't know why everybody doesn't do that. DC used to do that. It used to do
number one. They do it on number ones a lot.
Marvel.
I don't know why they don't do it on everything.
Marvel, I agree. Marvel is why I read digitally. It was my first foray, because at the end of every comic book, they had the code you take off, and you could go get it digitally. And it was my first foray into it. And that's when I realized, because Nick and I used to work together in retail, it's when I realized, when I get my comic books, I can rip this off, put it onto digital, get it on my tablet, and instead of
read it wherever you're at,
instead of bringing all of my comics to work, I could have them here with me in my little tablet, and I could keep going. And that's literally the jumping off point.
You can have all those boxes in this.
Yep.
I'm now logging in to see if there's anything I can get with all my DC digital points.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. Okay. It's gone all along the time. Okay. I'm peak counting at 3. We are going to talk about our most anticipated comic when I come back.
Yeah, it's the Nick Show. I'll P2.
The Nick Show.
Oh man,
that's the banner you need. Is Todd's P count / the Nick Show.
I don't mind it when it's like in the first hour, but like I have nothing left to talk about. Like, we have talked about everything. So if somebody wants to help me out in the comments, I guess, well, they just ditch me.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. It's all you.
All me. That's just great.
Enjoy.
Oh, shit.
Talk about Heroes in Crisis.
Oh, we could talk about Heroes in Crisis. How many of you like Heroes in Crisis? Tom King. They do this every goddamn time, and I fall for it every time. Frank is reading Flash. Frank, how long have you been reading Flash? Have you been reading Flash like since just Rebirth? because it's all really good, and all of Deceased is really good, and all of Heroes in Crisis is really good. Yeah, so somebody else in the comments put what you read today so we can talk about that, because I've already talked about pretty much everything. How long before aliens and predators show up in Marvel book? That's a thing, right? I heard that's a thing. That I don't know when it is because I don't pay attention to Marvel since I'm just pretty much all DC.
Alien and Predator versus Spider-Ham. 10 out of 10.
Versus Spider-Ham?
Because I read Predator versus Archie. If that shit can work,
sure.
Predator and Alien versus Spider-Ham, 10 out of 10.
Sure.
Same I would get next year.
I would even consider that. Minimum, I'd probably buy the trade. Minimum.
I'll send you my Predator versus Archie then when we're done with this, because it's a lot of emojis. That's apparently how Predator tops.
Makes sense. Digital iPad or tablet is mandatory. My iPad Pro, yeah. Flash, yes. Digital, physical. It is to a point. Two different consumers. You're right. But the talking to Wes, I think the physical collector is dying off to a point, which is too bad. But definitely the like popular books, if they release limited edition stuff, can do really well. Gotham Knights is so Cole. I don't know what that is. I am not reading any other digital first. I bought the first the Adventures Continue, but I haven't followed with it because I like reading digital when it comes to like DC Universe. When I'm reading old stuff, I can lay in bed and go panel by panel, half awake, and I can scroll through it, or I can sit at work during downtime, and I can get through it really fast. But in general, I prefer the physical book.
Well, it'd be so much better with some of these DC digital firsts if you could get them in the app.
Yeah.
Like that's how they would hook people like me.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe throw you some bonus points.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. I bought Superman Red Sun and it's now there for free.
Sergio, my favorite book right now. Oh, God. I would probably go with the easy answer of Killadelphia. Is probably my favorite book right now. But
Nick, how many people told you you should read Killadelphia before you actually read it?
Literally everyone. I knew when one came out that I should buy it. And that was like the first week where I started looking at things going, I need to like cool it on some stuff. And that one came out and I was like, I guess I just won't buy that. But Killadelphia would be my favorite book right now. Pretty easy. But I'm really excited about things like Wind. And I'm really liking Batman right now. Gosh, what else? Middle West is about to end next week or the week after, maybe. It's coming up really soon. And Middle West was one of the first like independent books that drew me in, and I started pulling from the beginning. And has been one of my favorite things. So I'm both like heartbroken and excited for the last issue of that because it's been a lot of fun. Can't go wrong. Yeah. Yeah, Killadelphia is easy answer. But there's a lot of books right now. This book actually was really good. There's just so many books right now.
I missed out on Firepower because I couldn't walk into my store the last 2 weeks.
Oh no, man! I really like it. It's another one that's just fun to read, especially the trade itself. It's a lot, but it goes really fast. There's a lot of just really good artwork.
Because are you supposed to read the trade first and then the free comic book day version second?
Yeah, the trade is the prelude, and then free comic book day is issue 1. And you could jump in here, but the prelude is really good. I think it's Image, so I think it's $10. Yeah, $10. Very good.
Well, Wes, you might be right that people giving away the code might be they're losing a little money. But the way like everybody does it is I'm going to give you this code and hope you go read it. Like
and then
I won an Empire Zero code from Lost in Comics and read it, and I was like, I might think about picking this up, and it's still bad.
You know, at this point, if someone wants to like steal a digital comic, you can just do that. So I don't think the digital code would really matter that much, because if somebody just wanted a free copy, like if they could just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, at that point, I don't think there's a whole lot of people that are keeping them from that. That Texas Blood is on my radar, but there's only one issue out, so I can't put that as like my favorite. But that issue was really good. Strange Adventures is another one that is early on that I'm very excited about too.
My spicy burrito take was I didn't like issue 2.
I didn't like issue 2 as much as I liked issue 1, but fair. I really liked issue 1 a lot. I didn't hate issue 2, but I did get done and I was like, okay. And everybody else was and I was like, I mean, it progressed the story, sure, but it wasn't anything like, yeah. It was fine. It was good.
Oh, those cover, like I am usually an either or kind of cover purchaser. I have wanted to buy the A and B covers on every Strange Adventures. Yeah, and I've got both for number 1, but the A cover for number 2.
I have I think I have Doc on both of them so far, but I might have got, I don't remember.
Because Doc's doing the B, right?
I don't remember now. Yeah, Doc is doing B, so I think I have right now. I think I have A B. I think I have A B because I was like, issue 1 has to be A, right?
I just like how they play off of each other. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, they're both good. I considered early on buying both, and then I decided no, I'm gonna settle on one, and then at the end of it, if it's really good, I'll buy the hardcover.
Makes sense.
I think that's fair. Otherwise, because it's cheaper to buy all of one issue and the hardcover than both A and B covers. So,
but in the world of
and with Doc being a Michigan boy, it's hard to not side with him. Being that Michigan, it's like, you have that. So
that's true.
Yeah, well, 5-5. Still alive. Yeah, we're still alive. Apparently, I am. Todd went to the bathroom, and he might be coming back to change this. Otherwise, for the time being, you get to look at me, and you can hear me, and you can hear Comic Book Poser.
I'm your Stadler and Waldorf. I'll just boo you from the balcony.
Although I have to go to bed pretty soon, so at some point you might only be hearing Comic Book Poser until he falls asleep.
Yeah. And I'll fall asleep in my chair. I did that last week while going like, here are the books you should get next week. And I, like a dumbass, deleted that video because it is hilarious. Like, X-Men, God loves.
Oh, he's back.
All right.
Todd just has to walk a mile here and back uphill both ways in the snow to go to the bathroom.
Everyone's wondering if Todd fell into the toilet. There he is. Should we do a pants check to see if Todd is still wearing the same pants?
What the fuck?
Who's going to screenshot it if I have to pants check? Hold on. Wait. Please hold. Command Shift 4.
I lost a dog, so that took a little bit longer than normal.
Is that what we're calling it now?
No, I actually literally lost
the dog.
My dog Papaya went missing, but she has been recovered.
Nice.
Oh, my battery is going to die in my camera. Oh, sneak peek.
He's back, but not really. So yes, Todd did fall in. Right? Right, Todd?
Right.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't hear the first part.
I know you didn't.
But yeah, sure.
I know you didn't, which is why what I said.
It's a good. Oh, there we go. Uh-oh.
No.
I switched out the battery in my camera. There it is. I think it's done freaking out.
I'm going back to my next week list.
Okay. Did we talk about? No, we didn't get quite to next week. Okay. I don't know because I haven't looked. I usually look on Tuesday for what's coming out next week because my shop isn't open until Wednesday. So I try not to get too excited about it. So at this point, the only thing I'm excited to read for next week is Once and Future because I have 8 issues. So hopefully Tuesday I can read most of this. So on Wednesday I can still read some of the new books. But
mine would be Strange Adventures #3.
Knowing now that comes out, that would also be on my list now.
Yeah, that would be it. Yeah, I think that would be honestly after 2 huge weeks of comic books, that's probably my most anticipated, which isn't enormous. It's kind of disheartening that that's my most anticipated book because the last 2 weeks have been such fire.
Death Metal too.
I've got a couple, and I'll let you kids take care of the DC. Aside from Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, 12, Death Metal. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, Death Metal too.
Family Tree 7 comes out next week, which I think will be really good.
Oh, yeah, it will.
I'm excited for Spider-Woman #2 because it's been a while for that. And then Artemis and the Assassin from Aftershock #3 comes out. From Vault, Engine Ward #1. That's a really cool story that I got to preview. It's like a dystopian plus all of the constellation gods that we worship have kind of a weird effed up society set up.
Year 03.
Yeah. There's a new Snake Eyes series coming out from IDW if you're a G.I. Joe's fan.
I could probably buy those books and enjoy them, but I don't.
Yeah. It Eats What Feeds It #1 from Scout comes out.
Ooh.
That was in the Scout box and the Comic Tom box. That's kind of cool. Imagine The Graduate if it turned into a horror film. That's kind of my feel of that book. The same Murder Hobo was a fun read from Scout, and I'm just Once and Future 9 comes out. I think all 3 of us are excited about that one.
I am so excited for that.
Like my feeling on Once and Future is literally if they can pivot from one literary franchise to another. I really, Todd. Like
what did I do?
If that
you cut out
or Nick hasn't read it. Sorry.
Yeah.
That becomes a good pivot. I don't give a shit about Rick and Morty.
Okay, if Year 0 is coming out next week,
that's the cover that I decided to pull the book for. It's like a family picnic and everything's on.
Oh
fire. Yeah. That when I saw that, I was
I have AW up right now.
Yeah.
Year 0. Oh, dang.
It's a cool cover.
Oh, that's a cool cover.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw
the
that. I'm
picnic.
like, I need the whole book now.
That's a cool cover.
So good.
Because I'm on Midtown right now, and I apparently can't buy Dynamite books anymore because their CEO is Big Comicsgate.
Yeah, that sucked because he donated. It's not even just like supporting,
And-
he gave money to it.
And showed up in live streams.
No, and then donated. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But this is a smaller week than the last two for me. But I was intrigued by Death Metal #1 enough to need to read Metal. I'm not going to read all 400 other titles. But I think I would put this in where a lot of people wrote off July 1st because it was indie heavy. And I was really excited because it was indie heavy. I think this week is a week for me because there are a lot of really, really sweet indie titles coming out.
No, that's awesome. I feel like it's still not as strong as the last couple, but like it was the thing. And also Sergio, yes, the cover for Year Zero #3 is crazy. It's really good. Now that Nick has pointed it out and you're mentioned it, that's awesome.
Sam King.
Sam, the Dynamite CEO went on a live stream in support of Comicsgate and then donated towards said cause.
And if you don't know what Comicsgate is, because I know Nick and I have talked about like this when, he runs the comic
together.
Yeah. Nick runs the Comic Burrito Twitter. I run my Twitter, and we both get a lot of spam from creators who are like, read our shit, look at our stuff, interview us. And the first thing both of us do is go, are they part of Comicsgate? Someone who's going to piss all over like diversity in comics. Like, if you want to look at just Vampirella covers for the rest of your life, like every woman should have massive headlights and be dumb as a box of rocks, and everybody should be white. That's what the Comicsgate movement is. The Comicsgate is the fairly conservative, like the white comic is the right comic kind of movement. And I've read a Comicsgate comic, and there are one or two that tell a good story, but I want my comics to be more representative. Like I've talked about on a couple of my videos, I'm concerned about looking for things that I can share with my students, that things are, how can I use this to share the like me phenomenon with my queer students, with my students of color? And Comicsgate isn't going to get me there. It's going to be the same old white revisionist history as everything else.
Comicsgate hides behind. I'm new to all of that, but from what I can tell, Comicsgate hides behind. Diversity doesn't matter. A good story is a good story. That's their argument. However, diversity to me makes a really good story because that is a reflection of how the world really is. And when you ignore diversity, you cut out a great part of what it is to be human and to live on this crazy ball called Earth. So it's just not cool. Is really, that's it.
Yep. Dudes Talking Comics, what's up? Thanks for joining us. We're amidst the
shitting
most
on Comicsgate because fuck those guys.
Yeah, because I will. Yes, bang on me exactly. There's a sphere that encapsulates everything that is. Comicsgate wants it to be a marble. It wants it to be the core of what they are, whereas there is so much more that there is to be had. And it is against trans and queer. And by doing that, you're also taking away mental health. You're taking away so many things that actually affect each and every one of us. It's not about underrepresenting anybody. It's about showing what life actually is like. And if you are actually open and honest with your community and how everything actually is, it's not just a bunch of white dudes with superpowers doing things. There's so much more to it. And there's women involved. There's trans people involved. There's queer people involved. There's minority.
There are women who keep their clothes on involved.
Yes, because they're about to fight. One of my biggest issues, my wife and I have been going through Survivor, which is, I get that this doesn't seem like it should be a tie through, but the representation is so alive when we watch Survivor, and it's just like we root for people of color because they literally get voted out so fast.
Yep.
They are like gonzo. Like, oh no, we really like this black woman. She ain't gonna last.
Yeah.
That fucking sucks. And it's the root of where it is. And it's just amazing. Like, I love that's why I love TKO. That's why I love Black Mask. That's why I love the Mad Cave that we've already covered. It's why I love all of these independent comics, because they don't just have a bunch of white dudes writing for them. They have people writing for them. And sometimes those comics are about white people doing things or straight people doing things, but also sometimes they're about other things. Also, the fact that somehow James Tiny Onion has slipped in to like the high class makes me really happy, because it's like, okay, you really are against Comicsgate. How you enjoying Batman? How's that Batman going for you?
But I think he's doing a good job with that, because it's not like Catwoman is a dumb bimbo.
Exactly.
Like,
that's what I'm saying is, if you are liking Batman, you are liking anti-Comicsgate, because we have somebody who couldn't hate that more because they represent something.
Someone who is a GLAAD award winner as a queer writer.
Exactly.
Yeah, take that, Comicsgate.
Like, fuck you. It's the fucking Batman writer.
and if you do feel that way, this book just wrapped up. 7 days.
Oh, 7 days.
By Gail.
I'll say you're holding up a Virgin cover.
I know, because Don hooked me up with this signed book.
That's beautiful.
I read this and I immediately was like, I need the rest. So it's 7 days. It's 7 issues, and it is the most diverse book I think I've ever read. It has
from a big 2.
No, this is
period.
Just period. Because this is Lion Forge. Is the distributor?
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty small book, I guess. Catalyst Prime, Lion Forge. Poser.
What's funny is I thought honestly, when you brought this up, I thought it was a big 2 book.
No,
it's Lion's Forge.
Yeah,
is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming trade is coming soon, and everyone should check it out, because, like I said, it's everything. It's everything.
Okay. I'm grabbing this. I wish you would have put it in these terms when you first brought it up.
Oh, and it's Gail Simone.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Right there.
Fuck, man.
I've mentioned it a few times.
No, but you've never put it like this. You've just been like, oh, I've been reading 7 days. That's cool.
You've never told all of us we needed to read it explicitly because it's a good book, and every other bullshit that Nick has for a book we've all recommended and has balked on it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, shit. I got the diamond code. Diamond code AG192061.
Put that shit in the banner.
That's what I'm putting it on.
It has.
It's in the comments,
and it's It's
And
like a whole new universe, but it's
On the
things
banner.
that are familiar, but things that are diverse and new, and just it's
fuck you, man. What the hell?
The villain in
You
the
mother.
is so fucking cool. It is. He's just. It's so good. Sorry.
You can't. Fuck.
I like how you said fucking missed your.
I know.
own-
Fuck was in it.
Yeah. As long as we're on that.
Fuck you, fucker. I can't. Damn. Fuck.
Need to retool that soundboard.
Nah, I think it's working as intended.
All right.
It's making sure that you hear the curse words. It doesn't care about the in between. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's. What
And they have a crossover event beginning on October 2nd.
Yeah, and I think there's something
bigger happening too
for this universe that happened already for like free comic book day or something like that too.
What I'm seeing is Cyclops and Jean Grey.
Everybody's going to bed.
And Black Lightning.
Yeah.
All right. If everyone's going to bed, I think we should wrap this up.
We should wrap this burrito.
This burrito with a side of queso. Thank you so much for sticking with us. This is kind of an old school burrito. We went a lot longer than we have in a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys noticed, we've upgraded a lot of things. We've got a new streaming system. Nick has a new like full screen webcam. I'm using my camera, which is why my hands are blurry here and my background's blurry. We've tried to amp it up a lot, and then we've upgraded Cole into Comic Poser. So we've done a lot.
Everything's better.
Yeah, we've tried to make a lot of things work for you guys. So thank you. Please comment, subscribe. Congratulations to Chaos.
Yeah.
For the Killadelphia. Follow Lost in Comics on Twitter. Subscribe to them on YouTube. Subscribe to Comic Bozer on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter. He's awesome outside of when he's giving us shit, which also, honestly, he's also awesome when he's doing that. What are you going to do?
Wes, you can't say shit like that while we're winding down. That's not cool. That's not cool.
Also, Lost in Comics is being like, you guys are still here. Yes, we are still here.
To the Burrito After Dark.
Yep, we're in the Burrito After Dark. As we
I'll
wrap
just
up.
go live on my channel next and just sit here and read fucking old comic, or
No,
I'll read the Previews magazine and be like, I want statues.
Yes. But yeah, Nick needs to go to bed because I was about to say he's an old man. It's after 1.
It's late in general.
It's just late.
There was a book I was going to read tonight that now I don't think I will.
It's not happening.
I don't remember
Read
what
it.
it was, but
Finger Guns 3.
Finger Guns.
Yeah, 3.
Read that here right now. Put your old ass to bed.
There you go. All right. So thanks for getting wrapped up with us. I'm Todd.
And I'm Nick.
And I'm Dusty.
Thank you. This has been Comic Burrito, a podcast, a live stream.
Bye.
Bye.